Hello, everyone.
What the? That's the sound from the
Access
show.
granted to broadcast node. Users now streaming.
Yes,
We are jacked in.
yes, we are jacked into the stream. Welcome.
Tom is so
everybody.
happy right now. That's like the night.
Leo,
This
it's
the highest compliment.
I almost I almost reached out to who did the audio to be
Eric,
like, can
Eric
you
Garneau.
yeah can you just give me the like so I could just loop it while we're talking, but I didn't get to it. So just imagine this whole time
He would say yes. You can have it.
Oh,
just imagine
God.
this whole time that there's
Yeah, just blanketing everything.
Yes.
Yes.
um
So everyone, we are joined tonight by the Anime Sickos, Tom and Joe. Many of you are fans of the show through osmosis and through me forcing it down your throats over the last few years. So thank you to everyone who has followed my advice and gotten into this amazing podcast that they run that's normally about the 4 pillars of modern misery: anime posting, gaming, and jobs. But our 2 lovely boys have just completed a artistic opus, Sicko Shock 2.
We can die now.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
allowed to die.
I mean that's
Finally.
you already did, right? Like that's canonically.
Oh, yeah. Well, but that's a fictionalized version of us. Now the real us can die because we've done our job.
Also,
Released
somebody
all the tension.
somebody messaged me in the Sickos Discord to say that they couldn't chat because they weren't a follower for long enough. We forgot that was on there. I got doxxed one time. So hopefully that is no longer true. So if you tried to
Yeah.
chat a second ago, you should be able to
Yeah.
chat.
That should be fixed. Chicago, they still are flagging you as a possible ban evader, which is hilarious, but can see your chats, so it seems to be fine. Fuck it.
Yeah, so hopefully welcome to any new possible Sicko viewers too.
Yeah.
We do a talk show. It's basically, it's not a podcast because there's only one of those. So
Yeah.
Anime
And it's
Sickos.
because you're
We
live.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Podcast is a lot that we edit. See how I just fucking didn't talk right? I would normally go, let me do that again. In podcasts, you can edit out when you don't do something right. And then I would cut that first one out and leave it so as though I only ever spoke correctly.
nah,
I
you
think
got to
you
do
should
it
keep
live.
doing that.
Yeah, just for.
I feel
What
like that
was the
would
word?
get me into thinking. Sorry, go ahead.
There was one word I couldn't say. It took literally 30 tries. It was Inuyasha.
Inuyasha.
Inuyasha. Yes.
I'm wearing because in honor, it's my only anime shirt. So even though this is not really your guys' kind of anime that much, but
I mean, I'm wearing our merch.
Yes.
got
yes,
so
give me the
pissed.
slop.
Such
Give
a
me
good
the slop.
shirt.
For those of you who are here and who have not listened to Anime Sickos, get your life together and listen to it. Start with the posting episodes. They actually have on their website a whole tab to tell you which are the most iconic
We should
episodes of
probably
Sickos.
update that, to be fair. But yes,
But
they're
everything
still
on
good.
there is true. It's
It's
Yes.
just there's more other good ones that we could put there, but the good
Yes.
one they're still good. And I know what you're thinking. Why would I listen to it? 2 white guys talking podcast. Well, we're the best one of those. The facts are the facts, folks. There's a lot of those, and a lot of them are bad, but we're not one of the bad ones.
There was a tournament and we won it. So
And that's it. Shut
This
the
is
door,
why
no
we
more
say
white
we're
boy
the only podcast.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like a podcast. So but I haven't listened to any other ones. So this whole show is kind of based off yours. So my understanding is that we have to ask all of our guests if they're the name of the show. So
Yeah.
technically the username is, I think we have to ask you guys, are you guys Dr. Devin Prices?
No, that's
Ooh.
Devin. I'm
Oh.
Tom.
Okay. Well, I had to ask
Yeah.
because I think that's how
Damn.
podcasts work.
But we are all Anime Sickos here, I think.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think we
yeah.
can
Oh,
all
yeah.
round up.
We've asked you, Devin, on the show Maddie, you have shown us enough gifs of Goku that the question
So
is
wonderful.
moot.
It's really good. Oh man. So
Oh.
congratulations on releasing just how I realize it's not actually just 6 hours because they're longer than an hour
Yeah, the last one's
each.
hour and a half. Yeah.
So it's like
Actually, let me actually check because I made a Spotify playlist of all 6 episodes and it has the
runtime.
fucking Christ runtime. Yeah, and because the first 5 are under an hour and the last one's hour and a half. So I'm wondering how that works out.
But
This is astonishingly interesting viewing.
Oh,
Watching me opening the Spotify app.
Listen, these are all autistic people in the chat, so they like a gentle pace. Like it's fine. It's soothing. Last week all we did was smell perfumes and talk about what we could smell and they could not. And they loved
That's
it.
incredible.
You know?
It was
So
a really
I
good
need
stream.
this.
yeah.
Oh, it's 6 hours on the dot.
Amazing.
Really?
That's
5
really
hours,
good.
59 minutes. How about that?
Yes. And because some of you will be watching this from Tumblr, I have to say, like, if you liked when Welcome to Night Vale first came out and you were like, wow, I'm not used to interfacing with storytelling in this audio drama format, and it's very transportive, and I'm taking lots of long night walks listening to this, and I'm, just wrapped up in that world. And, then it kind of eventually fell off a little bit for most of us. But like Sicko Shock is really brought me back to that feeling, but also is so much more elevated, I think, in terms of just the storytelling stakes. It takes itself more seriously than Welcome to Night Vale ever did as a storytelling medium, while still having a lot of that magic and just being really incredibly well produced. And I was literally just walking along the beach, at night, listening to them when you guys were airing them. So it was absolutely
First of all, that is awesome to hear. Like that, it was, I don't know, that encompassing. But just like Tom and I early on have said, like it's when we do the good job, it's funnier because we're dumb. So like the more and more of a better job we do, it's like those two, they what? And like, and this was the next escalation of it to be like a mini series. Like this is the same as the Shining series, as far as I'm concerned. It's like just 6 episodes.
Yeah. And like you say like, oh, Night Vale fell off. Like Sicko Shock 2 is never gonna fall off because it's over.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be more of it. And like it's all the pieces are necessary. There's no filler. There's no subplot that's dumb. All the subplots are part of it. And yeah, no, Joe's very right. Like one of the things I talked about this on our making of episode, but just like one of the things that I love is when you are watching or listening to something and you start to you finally click what it is actually happening, and you go like, no, they can't possibly be like, no, there's no way. And like that is why like we on Anime Sickos on the normal episodes, we are very honest that we are fucking morons. We are barely making it by in this damn earth. We often are made to feel like dumb baby bitches. And to think that, that we did all this, isn't that silly? And like that's part of it. And that's why it has to be so serious. That's why it has to be like I said, like this is the best. I'm saying this like both as like a visual, like a positive thinking thing, but also it's real. This is the best writing I've ever done in my life by like a significant margin. I consider the writing in Sicko Shock 2 better than many TV shows. I think it is at or above professional level. And the fact that I did it for the Anime Sickos podcast and not for the thing that would pay me is so goddamn funny. And I would not have it another way.
Patreon.com/Anime Sickos.
Yeah, I made a little.
For those who do want to support that.
Yeah, I should say in general for all of the links, go follow them on the Dead website, Twitter, and also there's the Patreon is right over there.
Yes. But yeah, Tom, what you were just saying reminded me of something you also said before we started streaming, was that with your that your ambition for a lot of the storytelling that went into Sicko Shock 2 was like you were thinking of it almost as like a novel, but put in the format of like what you actually kind of work with. Right. So like I don't know. I know you already have a kind of behind the scenes episode that just aired on your main podcast, but I am kind of curious of like when you guys both noticed and figured out that it was going to be the scope that it was going to be, and just how adjusting to that and keeping the eye on the prize, because everything does like end in a very satisfying way. All of the characters are built in a way, like just as you've talked about in the podcast before, you bring up people's names often enough that things are signposted. It's just very satisfying, and it ends in a satisfying way. So I'm just curious about that aspect of the process and how you kind of kept your eye on the prize for that long.
I think when we were like, okay, we're doing Dragon Quest IV, like we were like, we're doing Chapters of the Chosen. I think that was sort of decision,
because
which
the
is
things
funny.
that needed to happen to get me to actually start writing it was like, one, we had to having the structure, which was just like, let's just do Dragon Quest, because part of it was like, I don't want to do just another play, because our previous play was just a play. It was legitimately like a 5-act play where, you know, like a Shakespeare, but it was in Pilgrim talk and not Shakespeare talk. But like the acts were in that structure, and I'm like, I want to do something different. I don't want to do the same thing, and so we were sort of stuck until we hit, let's do Dragon Quest IV. You know, every character gets a mini arc that introduces them, and then there's like the big one where there's the group, and the group solves the problem. And you love the group already because you already love all the guys in the group. Slam dunk. And then it was like, the other things that I had to unlock in order to like make the writing work is, like, who are the guys, and what is special about them? Like, legitimately, and near the end, near the end of episode 6, Sherry, one of the 5 main characters, says, what am I here for? And I'm not saying that as a self-pity thing. Like, literally, what is the thing that I am meant to do in the final battle? And that's both something that our character would say, and that's also me being like, what the fuck? Like, all these 5 people need to have a special skill that they couldn't pull it off without. And so I had to have that. And then also this I did talk about on our making of. It's like, I need to have like a point, because it kind of felt at the beginning like an obligation. Like, writing this would be an obligation, because like it's, you know, we wrote one, we should probably write another, you know, and we haven't written anything about posting, and one of our things is about posting, so I should probably just do it, right? But if I had no like point, nothing to say about posting and what it means and does to us, it would be lame and not so good, because again, I would have nothing. I would just be like writing, being like, I sure hope this comes together somehow. But if I like had a point, I would always be able to like make the stories make sense. Not make sense, but relevant, because like, well, as long as the story has something to do with what I'm saying at the core, it'll work. And then I started writing the Bert one, the PI, the noir episode, just to see like, can I write? And then I sort of like was like, oh, I see now. Part of it, yeah, I'm losing the thread. My brain is running out of track here. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. I did really want to point out, because you talked about that, like the structure being Dragon Quest, and I did really want to point out that you could also say the structure is cats. It's just all the little guys introduce themselves.
and then it ends with people dying who want to die.
We ask for permission to die.
What the fuck?
Oh my god, that's a reward.
Holy shit, yes.
We go to the fucking heaven layer.
Heaviside layer. Oh my god,
so
that's
why don't they talk
crazy.
wrong? Talk normal.
Oh my god. And they even perform music. Like, it has a lot of, that's wild. That's such an insight, Maddie. My god. What the
It
fuck?
really lines up with cats.
It's cats. You did a cats.
Oh my god. And Cats also feels like 6 hours. So, you know, Just pass a little bit, doesn't it?
I mean, you might hear if you're not a Sicko fan, you hear 6 hours in the chat. Please understand, it's 6 episodes that are an
Yes.
hour each.
Yes.
And you can you're meant to take a break between them.
And you'll need to, because some of them are very emotionally arresting, and fuck you,
Yeah.
for Sherry Vaporwave in particular, but several other episodes as well. That one was fucking devastating.
Yeah,
and I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I definitely am curious. That's the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about, because so I did get a chance to listen to the episode, the Sickos episode today where you talked about it, and I know that was recorded before y'all released. So I'm definitely curious to talk about like the fan reaction and how it was like the same and different. And I think starting with fuck you guys for how heart-wrenching it was, but like obviously that was the point, and I appreciated you being like, yeah, that one was just like posting is like
The sad one.
Yeah, we got to, and all of them, it's like posting like kicks us all in the metaphorical nuts, and we need to like portray that.
Taking all the body parts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So did the just in general, to start with, was the reaction like how you thought it would be, or different than y'all thought it would be, or just broad strokes?
I will speak first because Tom obviously put more into this, but like I got what I wanted, which is just to kind of awe the scope. I just wanted people to be like, what is the scope on, like, every day there's a new one.
Yeah.
And like for me, that's what I wanted, and I got that. And obviously that does not necessarily correlate to just a mass audience, but like because I got that, I'm a happy boy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will now speak in more detail as the fucker who wrote the script, actually.
Thank you, Cap and Barra, for gifting a tier 1 sub, by the way.
Oh, hell
sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
I feel like the shoe is gonna drop. Like someone's gonna like the bad review, or someone who just didn't get it is coming, because it truly feels like too good to be true. That based on the Twitch premieres, which we did, and I've seen the response in the chat, like literally everything that I hoped would happen did. It was like I knew that the Sherry episode was going to absolutely devastate everyone, and the reason I know is because I already know that that Allie, the actor who played Sherry, is able to emotionally devastate you with writing that I write, because she did the same thing in The Tragical History of Modesty City, our previous play, where she played Young Goody, who is a character who got kicked in the metaphorical nuts and all body parts by Jobs. Now she's just playing not a similar character. I think Sherry and Young Goody are very different people. However, it's still Allie, and I still know what her strengths as an actor are.
It's the worst crying you've ever heard. Worst is in like it makes you feel bad, not like the crying was
like it's so real that you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I shouldn't hear that. Like I should be somewhere else. This
It was chilling.
I can't help but think of like Ari Aster's movie, where he's got that he loves to find people who can just like like just
Shriek.
really
Primal. Yeah.
And it's not the same like actual sound, but it's definitely the same like, yeah, we're gonna make this character hurt, and you're gonna feel bad about it.
Yeah. And so I knew that she was gonna be able to do that. She did. I also the music. So Sherry, if you don't know, her deal is that she is an artist. She's a musician, because that is the only art you can portray in an audio drama.
It would have been funny if we did painting, just like we're talking.
Just trust us. It's a really good painting.
Yeah. And so like what needs to happen, this happens into a character in the play, but also it needs to happen to you, the listener, is you need to be introduced to Sherry and be like, I like Sherry. She's a good. I want to see what happens to her. I'm invested in her. And then she plays music. Oh, that's interesting. And then when you hear her play music, you have to gasp. You have to be like, oh, she doesn't just like play music. She's like great. And so Joe knows a homie from the southwest suburbs, Chuck Rios, who is just a genius.
Yeah, he's so nice. And your instructions for one of them was like, can you do like, you know, the Yeast games? Can you like do the boss music for that? And he was like, yeah, I got it.
Like, I remember when we first were like hanging out and just starting up this show, and you're like, we have to have on my buddy Chuck. He's a musical genius. And I'm like, a musical? What do you mean? No, actually, it was when we were doing Shuffle Quest, and I'm like, we need to have theme music. And you said you should ask my buddy Chuck. He's a musical genius. And I'm like, what do you mean musical genius? And you're just like, no, he's a musical genius. And I'm like, he can't be a musical genius. He's a musical genius, folks. Time has borne this out.
And with so little instruction, I think that's what the real amazing thing about Chuck is, because it's like, can you make piano that, like, there in the script there was like, Sherry plays music that is so
That's
good
great.
It makes you, it's great, everyone cries, thanks Chuck. And that was enough.
Yeah, like I gave him like the emotional state, like what is Sherry feeling and trying to express in this song. But just like, I didn't fucking give him a key or like the tempo. I'm just like, she's feeling this way because she's been living this life, and and he's like, I got it. And then like people were like in the chat were like, oh, did he like give you a bunch of drafts? I'm like, oh, he didn't give me drafts. He's like, alrighty, I'm done. Here it is. And like there it was. And it's like, okay.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And you know, just because of the nature of what the Anime Sickos normal podcast is, you know, you guys are usually talking about very horrible posts, very terrible things that are happening in the world, how awful and pointless our jobs are, you know, these things that most of us approach with like a great deal of cynicism. And so it was so even like doubly effective, I think, to sit down with these, you know, 6 episodes that are really just an expression of and I think you've already said this, Tom, on Twitter, just like who you are as an artist and kind of like what you believe now. And it is really this love letter to just creativity as an individual person, and like loving your friends and appreciating your friends' art and what they're good at.
It's anime, baby.
But that will always be punished.
It will always be punished unless we can change the world. We can't change the world. We're fucked. Oh, I don't have any powers. Oopsie. But yeah, like I'm writing a thing for the newsletter, just like a retrospective and thank you for all the shit that's gone down since we've released. And I'm writing this, and as I'm writing it, I'm realizing it's true. And it's like I'm writing this and I'm putting everything I have into it. You know, I want it to be as good as I possibly can. And I know that I can write well, like in a real way, if I have the motivation and I have something to say. That's my fucking weakness, is that if I don't have something to say, which I usually don't, I can't write anything. But when I do have something to say, I'm like, okay, I can do this really well. And like, I know it's going to be a comedy because Joe and I, more so Joe than I, we can like make laugh lines. We can make lines that will make you go ha ha easily. Those will just come out, and that's never a problem. Like there will always be joke lines for me to like slot in when it's like joke goes here, and it'll be great and everyone will love it, the joke. But like, because it is a comedy, I don't want to use that, and people often do use that as an excuse to be like glib and silly. And it's like, this is not fucking silly. This is like, I am writing this with as much emotional honesty as I can, because that makes it more good, and that makes it more funny when they do tell a joke, because it's the contrast, you see, you know how this works. And I want you to get your heart torn out. I want it to hurt extremely badly when bad things happen to these characters. I do not want this to be a comforting thing where like, oh, it has to be like, I need my YA where everything's comfortable. No, this fucking hurts badly, because it exists in a world where there's an evil fucking institutional force that will punish anything good. And fucking folks, that's our world. Did you get the metaphor? Yeah.
I was curious specifically about the ending, how people responded to it, because you guys talked in the episode that went out today. You talked about how it was actually worse to start with that it was
so
gonna.
much worse.
It was much meaner. I'm glad Tom had a change of heart because.
Well, we never were really considering that.
But it was like all we had on, like it was just like the what was available to us. We were like, how are we going to end this? And the original idea was that we were just like malevolent spirits that were doing this because it's fucked. And it's like we were like pissed about being cyber ghosts, so we just eventually started taking it out on the world around us.
I mean, you guys were kind of like Jody, or not Jordy, yeah, in the original ending.
Yeah. This was the original ending only ever existed in like a very bullet pointy way, where it's like we had just decided Dragon Quest IV. Okay. Oh, well, and then what kind of what kind of people would the 5 main characters be? And we have like just the art, like a PI, an artist. You know, like we don't know their names. You don't know what they're gonna do. And then like, well, what's the ending? The ending is we invented posting, which. We changed that. We did not invent posting. Jordy invented posting in the actual final product. Mm-hmm. But we were the evil beings that invented posting. And because we did that, we're way eviler now. And the twist was like when the Ganja gang finds us, we say like, there was no mission. We did this to fuck with you because the world's evil and no one will ever win. Ha ha. And then we like kill them all. And then it's like,
oh
that's
my
fucked.
God.
We can't do that. That's nothing.
It's way funnier that we're in a cocoon, not because well, they don't want us to get out. It's just we keep asking people to kill us.
It's just like, can you kill us? There's this big. All you gotta do is press the button. Can you please press the big button? But yeah, so we thought that I was afraid that when the ending occurred, which I'm not gonna super spoil. Oh, I'm gonna spoil it.
I think we should do full. Like, I mean, you guys do that on the show too. I think if you haven't seen it and you really care about spoilers, don't listen to this.
Don't listen to it. Yeah.
On balance, I'd say we're anti-spoiler. Like, I'm not like, don't just like drop information for the sake of information, but like we talk about it with a purpose.
Right. Yeah, and we do say that we're gonna. And also, I will say, I'm biased, but I do believe that the craft and artistry of Sicko Shock 2 is such that it is enjoyable, even if you knew exactly what was going to happen.
Right.
Anywho, the ending is a fucking funny twist where everyone has thought the entire time that the thing that they're going to do, they have to destroy the evil lightning cocoon. That's where Jordy lives. And inside is the key to everything. And they're so sure of it. They have this big scene where they confront the evil and triumph with great aplomb. It's so inspiring. We're so proud of our heroes. But what was really inside the cocoon all along was us as ghosts from last play. We were the pilgrim ghosts still. And we've been around a long time, and we're like, we're sick of being ghosts. This blows my butt. Can you do something about this ghost shit? Can you please turn us off?
I like.
We thought people were gonna get pissed off that we like twisted it, and like I thought people were gonna read that as us being scared of being, I'm like, oh, I wanted to be emotionally honest and not glib. I thought people were gonna read that as like you are undermining the emotional honesty and being glib, and how dare you? It didn't seem to. People liked it though.
Yeah. I think it was effective. And this sucks that this is where my mind is going, but it's making me think of fucking Zizek, who's a racist man and sucks. But when he talks about some like Christian narrative, this idea of like, oh, it actually by killing, Jesus in this narrative, you're actually reflecting that like, and none of this is actually true or supported by anything theologically, because
he's talking in that weird way.
And he's sniffing. But it was like a cool idea. This is stoner logic, but it was like a cool idea of like by killing God, then you just leave behind the people, and people are actually what's in charge of their own destiny, and it's the fellowship that's actually what matters. And again, none of that is actually like theologically supported, and he's full of shit. But like, I think it is good for you to have this kind of ending in this story that isn't a tidy ending where everything is fixed. God is inept. It's kind of like a golden compass kind of ending where God is just this inept force that wants to die, and you can put them out of their misery, and who knows what's going to actually come next, because all these people have been living under this oppressive structure for all this time. And your own mind can kind of run with what, rebuilding in the face of that or taking it down would potentially look like. And there is already fan fiction about what it might look like that is really good.
That shit.
Yeah.
I also will say though that if you listen to Sicko Shock 1 and the Tragical History of Modesty City, both of which include Tom and Joe, the fictionalized characters that also exist in Sicko Shock 2, that the shit we do in Sicko Shock 2, the twist ending actually is completely in line with our characters, and it's exactly what we would do. We speak and act in exactly the same way that we always have. It's just that we are so rarely into that you forget about it. And then when you're like, oh shit, this is Anime Sickos. Fuck. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
You're hit by the shock that like, oh, this is those two dumb guys are in this every once in a while. They're like the main guys actually.
Yeah, I liked what you said, both in the actual ending, and then also in the you talked more about it in the episode that went up today, where it was like, what would I do? Like, what would the ending be? Like, if we actually were gonna like have the happy ending, like what would that actually look like? And I love that, like Devin was saying, is that we don't actually get that, and you can kind of like imagine how, what the fuck happens when you destroy this like system, this dystopian system that's been going on forever. And it's the same thing that I think we struggle with in real life. Like, as I mean, we're all leftists and we would like to see, police abolition and all this other stuff. And it's like, I don't think we can imagine what that looks like. And so it's really hard to. And I so it's like that kind of ending lets you, who knows? But then also the joke of, oh yeah, we just wanted you to kill us, actually gives you a punch. Like it gives you a satisfying ending by not actually ending. Like the ending doesn't actually have anything to do with the plot that you've been following, but it is a satisfying ending because it's that like joke. It's almost like a Shaggy Dog story of where it's just like, oh yeah, it's a fucking stupid joke. And so that gives it a satisfying ending, even though you purposefully didn't end the actual story, which I really liked.
I think the secret sauce there is that the please kill us does not undermine any of the seriousness of like anything that brought them there. Like,
right.
It's like Tom had said, like with comedy, if you're like glib, you can undercut sincerity, and it like just seems like our ask does not cheapen any of the things they have gone through.
Right. Yeah. Like I believe this is my head canon. This is my belief about what happens after. Like I think they do it. I think they are like, okay, well, we killed these weird guys. Let's go to the next server over, and then they destroy the posting feed. Like they delete they delete Twitter and it's gone now. And so when you jack in, it's just a fucking emptiness where you can build your own thing. And they fucking like delete the fucking, what do you call it, spreadsheet that says what all the cops' names are, so that like they don't get money anymore. And now they're fucking their what do you call it? Their computers, their cop computers don't work because they don't recognize the user. And it's like I think they still do it. It's just like, again, you can't do that on audio and have it be compelling.
Yeah.
It'd just be like, I'm doing it. Wow, this is good. And it's like, but you can also be a genius and think what Devin said, and that it's all very nuanced and societal. And in fact, really, in what way can one ever escape a system like this?
Oh, this is ours now. You did the thing. You don't. We get to do.
Yes.
Do what
Death
we
of the
want
author.
To. Yeah, we
Literal.
get to. Yeah, I'm dead. That's what we were saying. We're allowed to die now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did want to say thank you. Thank you so much, That Callisto, for subscribing for 3 months. And also, I think we actually didn't do the thing earlier so that first-time chatters could chat, but you should be able to chat now. I think now
I don't know why it didn't
chat.
work on my end.
I think there was a different
sorry
setting that I changed. But anyway, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, you can downplay your accomplishment as much as you like, Tom. But I really like something that just struck me throughout listening to this series was just how like prescient it was and is. Like, just the idea that so for those who haven't listened, I'm just going to lightly touch on what it's about, but basically it's the year 42069. All humans, as far as we know, live under a protective dome. And you are required to engage with posts every day. But you can't be a poster unless you're a member of this, like, supposedly, like, hallowed hall of posters who have been posters basically forever. And it's just so effective and such a great, like, we like really like, we later find out that these posters are not alive anymore. It's, they're just reusing Chrissy Teigen posts from, our present day and AI iterating on them.
Every 5 years it restarts.
Yeah.
And so
because everyone who read it, their descriptor is like, did you mean to put in a guy from today as an example of a poster? I'm like, I sure fucking did. Wait till you get to it.
Now, actually, that's something I want to ask Maddie. When did you realize that the posters were not alive? Because we get hints of that right in the beginning episode, but it took.
Well, they say that at the end of the first episode, right?
Yeah, that's Bert's big revelation.
Yeah. Okay. I must have like missed because I heard that, like, obviously he was trying to find them and he couldn't get any like access to them, but like I didn't realize until we get to Fiona Firewire and she's talking about them reset every 5 years. I'm like, oh, these are not eternally living Chrissy Teigen, John Legend zombies. They are.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just thought it was such a good, because we are like ruled by a government that is full of shambling corpses, and in terms of its powerlessness,
they're so old. It is so funny how old they are.
It's actually
way worse than the USSR was at its old and worst, right? Like we're past that.
It's so sad. It's like actually upsetting. Like Feinstein is like terrible, and she's always been terrible, but it's like still actually upsetting that they're like, oh yeah, we're just parading her around. Like, it's actual elder abuse, and it's scary. So yeah, it does.
This is
feel like
the
that.
vote corpse we push around. Yeah,
that doesn't even vote.
I've seen the chat. I'm reminded of, we did a sketch once where we mentioned that we made a reference to Neo President Necro Biden has opened his bio crypt and said this. I do want to go back to what you were saying, Devin, about like you call it prescient, and that's by pure fucking luck. Because
no, you guys are always right, and you've been right every time. I think that's the lore. So
there's a book
go back
called
on the lore.
Number Go Up.
Damn, they scooped you.
But no, because I wrote this all when Twitter was still owned by fucking Twitter Jack, my man, the idiot ayahuasca dunce, who thinks that Elon is the only person who can bring the light of humanity into the new world.
Yeah, expand the light of consciousness into
that's
space.
The one. Yeah. Just the most insane thing to say and still be behind. Anyway, the point being, I was like, Twitter's going to be around forever. I'm going to write about how Twitter's going to be around forever. And then when we were in the middle of recording, he actually bought the fucking company. I'm like, oh, there's no chance he's going to buy it. Oh, he fucking bought it. Oh, no. And then there was like Elon Musk lays off every fucking buddy. There's no one maintaining the site. And I'm just like, oh, it really does feel like at any day Twitter could just go offline and no one knows how to bring it back because the institutional knowledge is all gone, which would make my fucking big project no longer resonate with the world. Oh no, by pure luck, it stuck around and got even more painful. So now everyone thinks I'm a genius. Like, oh, you're so of the moment, Tom. Like, yeah, I did that on purpose.
It definitely is more than ever the pain factory that creates hell energy, for sure. And it's all of them are like, it's like all like. Elon did all of that bullshit, and then everyone else was like, that's a great idea. Reddit is like, yeah, let's also fucking charge for our API access and all this shit. It's like,
and Tumblr's doing it too. You have to have an account to view posts, all this shit.
Can we
The
talk
guy-
about API access? Okay,
Yeah.
so a
How
couple
is that
weeks
not a
ago-
name in the show? First of all, but anyway, go on.
Man, if people could say why isn't this the name of the show all fucking day, it's because we're not smart enough to think up all those names. We thought up the maximum amount of names we were capable of thinking of, and that's all the ones that are in the show. API access is a good fucking computer name though. So a couple weeks ago, Joe says, I don't think the episode posted today. And this happens sometimes. I forget to actually schedule an episode to go out. So I'm like, oh, my bad. So I go on Libsyn, which is where we host our podcast. And it's right there. It's published. I'm like, it's published. What are you talking about? And he's like, I don't see the post. I'm like, you don't see the post? And so I go on Twitter and there's no post. I'm like, what the heck? Because on Libsyn, you can, write a post that posts the episode when it goes live automatically. And so I open up a support ticket. I'm just like, hey, that didn't happen. Like, what's going on? Is that something to do with the API access? And they're like, we have opened a ticket for this. We're looking into this. This is an issue we've never seen before. We need to do some we need to do some investigating. And then, like 2-3 hours later, it's like, upon investigating, we have discovered an incredible thing. Twitter is now charging for their API. I'm like, did you not read the fucking news?
Oh my god!
Just wait. So your
business is done now.
Yeah,
You just said that you had that this was a new issue that you weren't familiar with. Like, there are other shows that you're hosting, right? Like, what the fuck is
You were the first to email about it. Like
Yeah.
what?
like? That's the other thing. I want to get off Libsyn so bad, but I need to figure out how. They're updating they put the stats on the new Libsyn, which is a new UI, which is way worse in every way. And there's a tab that's called Social, and you click on that, and it's just blank now because it doesn't integrate with Twitter. I guess if I had a Facebook, that would be useful, but it's just like, what a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah,
And
I
so
mean,
I
it
have
wouldn't
to
be useful.
manually post every day.
No one
Like
uses
this
Facebook.
morning, Joe was like, "It didn't post. It didn't post." I'm like, "Oh, it's just because I woke up and I forgot to put the post. I had to write a post."
Yeah.
I'd be so mad.
God, I mean, like all of the changes that have happened to Twitter, not just that it's still around and getting shittier, but just like it again, it just maps onto what you wrote into the story so well. Like the idea that people might have to pay to be able to post or have a limit to when they can post. It does just like tip into this world.
I do think that's why Fleets made me feel so crazy, because I was expecting things just to get bad forever, but then they like did a fun thing and then took it away. And that was so much more evil.
It's like when you find out about the cable cars in Chicago. It's like, oh
my god. It was like, did you know that there was more cable car track in Chicago than anywhere else in the world? And I'm like, we need to start ripping up this street. We need to start ripping those streets up now. I don't even care if they're down there.
Yeah, if there's a cable, great. If not, so at least another fucking street has been killed.
Yeah.
The car cannot go over it.
I don't need cable cars to win. I need streets to lose.
Yeah.
That's how we start. Oh my god.
Yeah, but
Wait, what?
Oh, go on, Devin.
Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead. You go ahead, Maddie.
I do just think that there is something to like, I don't know, we're all fucking, especially as creatives, right? Where it's like we're all forced to fucking jack in and post on the fucking websites, and they all just get worse all the time and make everything worse. And, you know,
And now you have to be on a million of them.
Right.
For real. Like I was telling Joe, like it's so ironic that this fucking week of the release is the week that I have to be looking at and caring about Twitter like so much more than usual, which is usual is already too much. And it's like I have to in the morning I have to make the post. I have to make sure that everyone is looking at the post. I have to make sure that there's enough retweets. Oh no, what's gonna happen? And then around noon, I have to retweet it from my personal account with a funny joke. And then I have to make sure that Joe does that too. And usually it does. And then, is there enough people looking at the? You know what I have to do? I have to go back to the Anime Sickos account and retweet both of those tweets from the Anime Sickos account.
Also, you're working.
I'm. No, I'm fucking not. And then actually, now I have to promote the stream for the next episode tonight at 8. Oh, okay. But then and then at 7 I have to put another promotional post saying that's in an hour. Okay. And it's like I have to make sure that all those have the right images. You know, have the images and the promotional, and it's just like fucking. I'm going nuts. I'm going insane. I'm a slave to the numbies, and the numbies aren't even good because, as we've said, X the Everything app fucking hates us because we put links to the podcast episode in the fucking tweet.
Also, just at this point, if you're not paying for your $8 fun badge, they spent years freaking out about shadow banning, and then they did it, which is so funny. But like, it's objectively true that like this environment is less. I don't even mean just for the sickos. I just mean like really, not that I feel owed likes or anything, but it's like when I post stupid shit,
I feel owed likes.
When I post some stupid shit, I know I can tell when it's being kept in a dome, when it's not being set free.
Yeah. And the thing is, I also said this pre-stream, I put all that shit also on Blue Sky and Tumblr. And as much as I complain that Axe the Everything app is keeping us down and shadow banning us, the reach we had on Twitter was a jillion times more than on any of the other places. So it's like, what are we fucking gonna do?
Yeah.
I swear, these platforms have some way of like flagging whether you're a power user, somebody who's like generates, their 99% of revenue. And that's like, the stat used to be something like if you tweet more than 8 times a week, you're in the top like 1% of tweeters, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because I experienced the same thing with like Instagram, which I used to use a ton of, and I still can sometimes get into a frenzy with, or Tumblr, where it's like the more you use it, the more it snowballs. Which doesn't really make sense necessarily from how their algorithms supposedly work of trying to show you new things and keep you going. But like,
it just sets up such a good addictive loop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A good, horrible, addictive loop. And I don't know, there's something that is just really heartbreaking and tough about it as a creative, because you can't just be good at practicing and ministering to your art.
As Jordy says in episode 2, it doesn't fucking matter if it's good.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jordy calling that beautiful piano piece not even Jordy, fucking her friend what the
Metro Overclock.
Reeve calling her beautiful piano piece good content.
That was so good. That was such good.
Yeah, I said this because that was the one episode I actually got to or no, that wasn't. But yeah, just like that. I thought the whole joke was going to be this beautiful piano piece, and then at the end he was going to be like, "Wow, that's not a fucking Chrissy Teigen post. That sucks." But it was and that was gonna like. I was like preparing that in my chest, but it was so much worse that he was like, "Oh yeah, that's great content." It's like, just fucking, just.
That was so well written, like, because he's like, yep, he's a good guy. He's a normie. He's the voice of the boring normie, and he is being genuine. But that's the only framework he has for thinking about things, because of course it would be, that was very soul sucking.
The word content just becoming just default is just slop. It's the slopification. Like, it doesn't even matter the medium or what it's being viewed on. It's just content. Just give me words, pictures, whatever. Yeah. Those kids' videos where it was like Spider-Man giving birth to Elsa, that was traumatizing. I love that shit. Yeah. It's so cool that there's like just an unimaginable amount of trauma because of those just waiting to come out later.
And latent fetishes lurking inside,
Oh yeah.
I will say that the skibbity toilets are not slop. I watched that. That's actually really good.
We were literally
just talking about this
before y'all joined. We were like, okay, because this shit, I'm like, all these fucking people on Twitter are like, what the fuck is this? The kids are so fucked up. And I'm like, bitch, I watched YouTube poops that were way weirder than this as a kid. Like, this is just fucking Gary's mod shit. Like, it's not even that weird. How are you upset about this?
Skibbity toilet is good. I used to watch things on Newgrounds where just like Hitler and the Teletubby baby would be like having parades together.
It's just like there's always going to be a impulse in the creative community to independently animate sick fights. It's been happening since they first put shit on the internet, videos on the internet. And Skibbity Toilets is just another way to have sick fights, except that the enemies, their weak spot is to flush the toilet. They go down.
Yeah.
It's oh god, and the lore and analysis videos. That's the new thing that I'm into. Is like every time a new Skibbity Toilet drops, there's some guy who's like, well, this weapon works this way because we've seen it when it has a blue light, it freezes the Skibbity Toilets, but when it has a red light, they shake. You know.
I didn't know you were this hard into it. We got to do a deep dive on this. I've only seen like clips. We got to do a full deep dive on this shit.
There's a power system. Like there's
because there's
yeah.
Because they're good. Well, okay, at first you think the only thing a Skibbity Toilet can do is like try to bite you, and and the enemies, the good guys have like camera heads, and they can like shoot camera beams at them. But then, like, eventually the Skibbity Toilets develop new powers. I forget what. There's like multiple heads in one toilet, but like
there's tanks.
The same thing. Yeah, tanks. They have like fucking rockets on their toilet. The same thing happens over and over. The Skibbity Toilets gain a tactical advantage, and then a new faction of electronics-headed men show up. Then the speaker heads show up, and for a while the speaker heads are fucking OP as hell. They blare. Everybody wants to rule the world at the Skibbity Toilets, and they just fucking like turn to dust. But then like and at one point
this is playing with guys.
It's exactly that. It's sick fights.
Okay, I think we need to watch one of these because I just looked it up.
Yes.
This is the beauty of this format. We can just fucking. It's only 56 minutes. 56 minutes. Only 56 seconds.
Yeah, they're like a minute long each, which is great.
Yeah.
It's just like one sick move.
Oh, thank you so much, Lulu Things.
Someone's. Oh, the Skibbity guy is gonna fucking get him.
Oh, and he's so scary.
Oh,
but they plunged him. And I love how they thumb up.
No, there's a huge Skibbity Toilet.
Oh, here come the TV men. Oh, salute our troops.
This looks better than Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
It is.
Is that like the president of the camera guys?
Oh no, now there's more of them.
What's he gonna do?
It's locking on, yes.
Oh yes!
Fire the missiles.
Like, okay. With the people who were like, I don't understand what this shit is, pick the most out of context possible clip. Because if you see that, you know exactly what this shit is. A sick fight.
Yeah. I can't help specifically of thinking of Devin, you're talking about Newgrounds. Did anybody else watch fucking Madness? It was like the little guy, he had like a cross on his face. Like when you draw a picture of a person, you draw like the cross before you draw the face. Like it's like that.
Oh yeah, yes, because it shows like the angle they're positioned.
Right, and it's just Madness. Yes. Oh my god, I'm so glad people know Madness. But yeah, it was just like it was. Well, fuck it. But it was just this very long-running series. Yeah, Madness Combat. It was just like a dumb Flash video. Yeah. So like it started as like, oh my god, I didn't know they were all on YouTube. I'm gonna have to go watch all these.
Oh, that's what this is. I thought like this was like they were like Flash games where you like beat these guys up, right?
Yeah, there was a really good Flash game of this eventually. But then it got like crazy. Eventually, it was like a full-on fucking like Metal Gear Solid shit.
Yes.
And it was just fighting.
Sicko Shot 2 is the same impulse as this. You start with some stupid shit, and eventually you're like, okay, I have this stupid shit pipeline that works. I know it works. Now I'm going to actually like really push myself as an artist and create something great, and shove it through the shit pipeline that I have built up.
Yeah. Skibbity Toilet is just madness, for sure.
Yeah. This whips.
Oh my god.
When you first said Madness, I thought you meant the ska band, like the guys who walk in a line.
Me too. So we're getting close to the hour mark, and we don't want to overextend the Sickos' time because they have jobs. So should we take them to the dollhouse?
Oh yeah, we never did that. We never did that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is a really important thing that we do on this
Oh!
show. This is the dollhouse.
I don't
Hold
think
on.
Joe's in the dollhouse right now.
Yeah, I realized we started. I didn't want to spoil the dollhouse.
I'm
Hold
huge and looking down.
We're all just your toys. Yes. Oh my God. So this is Maddie will take a second to pipe your face in, but the dollhouse is a little something that we've been playing with on the stream. You can see we have Baby Gronk is there.
Oh shit!
Xena.
Hi, Xena.
Bad Gollum from the new Gollum game. He's having his eyes pulled out by a kinkajou, which is an animal.
We did that on accident.
But then we kept it. This is Hannibal's house, by the way. This is Hannibal's office.
Okay.
Agnes Callard is there. There she is.
Hi, Agnes.
I'm scared. Of course, Link.
Christ.
And
Is
then
Link like
Hoopify.
Kangol? What is this?
They all have leather hats because we were talking about a kinkajou, and so it needed a kinky hat, and so now they all have kinky hats. And they also have
a Kangol.
they also do have they're having a little tea party. Things have gotten a little wild. Also they're playing toys. They're playing Legos. This is
Yes.
This is what Tor Client does in the streams that weren't on screen.
Yeah, I have
this.
said that I am just Tor Client. Like when I listened to that episode, I was like, it's me. My fucking username that I go by is even Test Device, which is that could be a fucking name in the goddamn show. So anyway,
Yes.
so basically, so first of all, you each have to add a doll to the dollhouse. So that is
Yes.
It can be
Yes.
any. And this is just like, and I mention this all the time, that like every character from every movie and every video game came to my birthday party. It's like that.
Yes.
It can be any guy that you want, or person, real life person, or anything.
Yeah, we got Agnes Callard. We have Baby Gronk, and then what's his name?
Hoopify, who makes TikToks about Baby Gronk.
And so basically,
Is he the one who talks with this affect? Baby Gronk got rizzed up by Livy. Can he be the next Trip King? He's going to LSU, but oh no, it seems like Baby Gronk has broken his commitment to LSU.
Look, you do that perfectly. You guys, wait, you have the exact fucking affect. But yeah,
you should be on TikTok.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of these, as we've been having guests, we've been making them add to the dollhouse. Xena was voted on. So basically, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this because we've just been fucking freestyling this shit, but we want to make a system where the chat can add people. Obviously, we want all of our guests to add people, but also I think we want to do like a tournament of all of the people, and so we don't know how to do that. I don't know. We've just been kind of freestyling it.
Can I have my edition ready already.
Yeah, tell me. Just tell me.
Joyce Carol Oates has to be in the dollhouse.
Yes. Number one poster and her yucky keyboard.
The worst keyboard ever.
Worst keyboard, worst feet.
She's afraid of Halloween. She's like so against the concept of skeletons. She's amazing. And I had to read all her stuff in college, and at no point anyone was like, this lady's afraid of Halloween.
Oh my God. She was
That's
a poster
pretty
before
good.
posting even happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's got a chair. Yeah, we could put her in with the chair.
She was the one who was referred to as a literary non-hottie by someone. I forget who said that she was a literary non-hottie. It was just like, what a thing to say.
No, this has got to be it because there's the full picture right there. That's like literally perfect.
Yeah.
You should keep that guy also.
Who's the guy?
Is that her husband? No, because she has like a dead husband.
Yeah.
That's why she thinks Halloween's scary.
Oh no, yeah,
death is bad.
That's her husband because this is a fucking obituary for him.
Oh no! Okay, that cannot go in the dollhouse.
No, it's got
yeah.
This
You don't
picture
get two.
isn't. Yeah.
It's like the turtle doves in Home Alone too. You don't get two.
I don't believe in ghosts, but I feel like that would invite them nonetheless.
Yeah, this is a nice dollhouse. It's not haunted.
So I got to do that.
Baby-
I have to fucking. First of all, I have to turn it into a goddamn JPEG from a WebP because the internet sucks
Internet's
ass.
great.
It gets better and better.
You know what you got to
here.
do is you got to form a gang of 5 individuals with unique skills.
Yeah,
and
like
make
we
a
only need
run
one
on the
more.
server.
like
It can be
Skimble
us and
Shanks, the
Joyce.
Railway Cat, and
Actually, what we need is Baby Grunt, because Baby Grunt's going to be our social engineering guy. He's got such riz. He can get us in any door.
Yes.
We don't need any forms. We don't need any access. He can just be like, "Hey, I'm Baby Grunt. I need to get in this," and it's like, "Oh, Baby Grunt. Obviously, I understand."
You want to talk about the horrors? That's great content. Anything by Baby Gronk's father is really harrowing. It's like this child has been raised to be the algorithm since the age of 3. He is the perfect piece of content.
the kid's
like-
actual name is Madden.
Oh my god! So they really have wanted this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over optimized. You're trying too
Oh my
hard.
god! So,
As you
and
know,
but
your
it's
children are a possession you own and can do with what you will.
make content from them. That sucks. That like he is exactly the joke his parents wanted him to be. Like that sucks that we all just bought into it.
Yeah.
And then it
Yeah.
is funny.
And he doesn't know anything else until enough distance has happened.
Oh God, I really think we like children should not be able to be in TV shows, movies, or internet videos at all. Is
Why-
basically and this is-
Why can we have fucking we can have child labor. It's legal. We're legalizing it everywhere. But aside
We're
from
really
that,
all about it now.
Yeah. But aside
Back
from
to
that,
the
it's
mines.
like you can't have child labor unless it's a Hollywood movie where there's famously all of the perverts. Then it's fine to have child labor.
Yeah.
Child labor's fine if they're tap dancing.
yeah, they love it.
I mean, as bad as like a child actor in like a movie or TV show is, like at least movie and TV shows are like legitimate operations. Like it's like a real business, but there are lawyers involved somewhere. They may be fucked up lawyers who let the freaks do evil shit, but like
Yeah.
there is an infrastructure that there could be protections.
Right.
It's these fucking content families that are just like, your boss is mommy. Like you work for mommy.
Yeah, that shit sucks really bad.
It's so scary. And so many like canceled individuals now have pivoted to becoming family YouTube channels. Like Shane Dawson's getting pregnant, Colleen Ballinger's getting pregnant, or no, but she's already had a family channel. All the like people that are like predators and get canceled for being predators online then say, "Oh, I'm going to start a family."
Is the idea that if you do the family angle, it trumps the other stuff?
I think it's like a whole different audience. You just find people who didn't know or don't care that you did blackface or, you know, made out with 16-year-olds when you were 25 or whatever at fan meetups. And like, it just, yeah.
Googling is very easy. I feel like the barrier to getting that information is not thick.
No, not at all. And yet, somehow. All right, are we bringing?
Yes. So
John?
Tom, you still need
One sec.
yours. You still need to add your friend
Oh
to the dollhouse.
yes,
You're gonna go ahead and add Buggy the Clown.
Yeah.
Fuck
This
yes.
is his kid version.
Yeah, that's
I got him
young
because he's a
Buggy.
little shithead. This is very Geordie coded.
Yes.
Young Buggy. I also have his homie from the Oro Jackson, Young Shanks. They hang out together.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, look
They're
at them.
friends.
Oh.
Yeah, they look evil. They
No,
look so
Shanks is good.
mischievous.
Shanks is good. Buggy's evil.
But their
Is he
teeth are
eating
just so
chocolate?
large.
He's eating chocolate.
Oh my god. Okay, that's not as menacing, but it's still I'm a little scared. I'm a little frightened. Oh, I'm very frightened. Oh boy, that's evil. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's a terrible thing to see.
Okay.
Oh
We're doing
god.
we're the computer things are happening. Here we
Hacking.
go. There we go.
Okay.
There's
Oh, it's Joyce.
Yes. Yes. Oh, she
We
looks
need
so
to
good.
we need to change the location. Even though this is objectively the best possible location, it is getting a little crowded. We need more floor space.
It's true.
She would be by the bookshelves, though. That is correct.
Yeah, she's
And with
reading.
Agnes Callard.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
fuck, yeah.
god. Yeah. Have they ever talked? That would be
Every once in a
unfortunate.
while, Joyce like drops like an incredibly clear-headed and concise and cutting like single line that like absolutely demolishes some foolish turf or something, and it's like, Joyce, why, huh? Like, why? How's that still in there?
Yeah.
So
It's
maybe she's
very
gonna,
weird.
yeah, she's gonna hear Agnes Callard be like, sex, honestly, the whole point of sex is the feeling of being mutually wanted. The act itself is almost secondary. So when you do it with your grad students, no one can get mad at you. And
I'm really just writing fan fiction, real person shipping fic between myself and my grad student right now
yeah,
by fucking them.
and my husband has to just live in the same house as me and the grad student. And when he says, "I'd like to take a trip, dear," I'm gonna hate that idea so much.
Oh my
that I
God,
put an op-ed in.
That one I was tempted to do. But no, yeah, we did a whole fucking segment on that article that got written about her. And we did decide that it wasn't as bad as it sounded that she fucked the grad student. That was actually not the weird part for us. It was definitely just
It's that she's
like,
getting them all jobs. That she has had two
Yes.
spousal hires from two different guys.
and they
That's
didn't even
worse.
fucking talk about that shit in the fucking article, of course.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the infinite money scam. Just keep marrying people and getting them spousal hires at the University of Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, is that where she's based?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
dude. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Where else, dude? Where else?
Yeah.
UFC has. I mean, they should apologize to all of South America, but there are definitely some individuals there.
Tom, tell me your little guy again. Tell me the
It's gonna be
full...
Buggy the Clown. Buggy. Like
Buggy?
a horse and Buggy. Buggy the Clown. He has a lot of good looks. You can pick your favorite look.
Hell yeah.
Got to get a full body is always the... Probably actually getting a doll. What did you say you had the child version?
Yeah, because he was as a child he started his pirating career as a chore boy on Gold Roger's ship, the Oro Jackson. Gold Roger, as you know, the king of the pirates.
Of course.
Obviously.
Along with Shanks, who was another short boy, and they both thought that they would go on to be great pirates. And well, only Shanks did. Although you wouldn't hear Buggy admit that.
I think this is perfect. This is, I think, the same one you
Looks
have,
great.
right?
Yeah, it is the same one I have.
Perfect. Yeah.
It is in fact mass produced.
Wow. You got the guy, the mangaka himself, to hand sculpt it for you.
That'd be so cool. If I ever met Oda, I'd say, "Hey man, you really gotta stop hanging out with the Kenshin guy. It's not cool to hang out with the Kenshin guy. Stop doing it."
Me
I
and
don't
the
think he
fellows
hangs
have been
out.
talking, and you can't hang with him anymore.
Yeah, it's a bad look, dude.
Oda goes Gesto mode. Yes.
He didn't have free time.
Yeah.
None of these guys have free time. He had to like take a month off and like apologize profusely so that he could get like surgery to fix his sight. He's like, "Hello, friends. I cannot see very well. I have the surgery that would fix it, but I haven't had it for years because it would require me to take a month off, which I can't do. Anyway, I've decided to finally take a month off. If any of you kill me, I understand." And it's like,
Heartbreaking.
God.
"Oh man, you can do it."
Please, there's already so much out there. Can't
Apparently,
you just stop?
I've been like letting the chapters pile up so I can read a bunch in one go, but I have heard that since the fucking eye surgeries, art is a lot cleaner and crisper. And it's like a whole fucking I
Who
bet.
would've thought? Yeah. Oh my god.
There we
Oh
go.
yeah. Oh, that was easy.
Look at that freak.
Yes.
He's so vile.
Oh my
I think
god.
he's gonna be
Now we have
standing on this chair.
We have an actual toy in the dollhouse now for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, he's such a rancid piece of shit.
Oh my god.
Buggy's great.
Oh, he looks awful. Yeah. Oh my god.
Buggy really is Geordie coded in that he was like the first villain of the week in the series, and Oda just clearly loved him so much. He's like, I'm gonna have him be around forever. He's just like shown up like 30 times. Each time he's like failing forward. He never becomes confident, but he just always finds himself in a position of more power by pure accident. And yeah, that's very Geordie like in a way, because like Geordie was just supposed to be young Goody's friend, but I'm just like, this is so fucking funny. Make him evil.
Let's talking about the show again. I almost forgot a very important thing, which was I wanted to bring up some. There has been fucking awesome fan art that I saw in the Discord, and
It's so good.
It's really good. So where is it? Hold on. Go past the Joyce Carol Oates in my download folder.
Lurking.
Do they have to be PNGs because they can't have a background?
Somebody fucking showed me. That's why it took me so long to get them in, is because somebody showed me a website called remove.bg that it like uses magical AI and works really well. So I find JPEGs, and then I have to. Well, they're fucking WebPs, and then I have to turn them into JPEGs, and then I can use that website and take out the background.
Which is also why the dump truck emote is transparent. So everybody who's a subscriber, you can use the dump truck emote now, and it looks better.
You did it?
Yes, I did do it. I did do my one job, which was fix the dump truck Kappa emote. So, now you can see his little toesy woesies on the background of the chat.
Oh, that's really good.
Small man.
It's a chinchilla.
Chinchilla. Yeah.
Is this a squirrel?
Yeah.
That's my son.
Yeah. So in episode 6, they put the evil lightning on a hard drive or on a removable USB drive, and it turns evil. And look at that.
Oh my god.
It's like 3D done.
I thought, okay,
so
I saw this on Twitter like originally, and I thought this was just an unrelated thing that just happened to like line up, but no, I think Brandon in the Sickos Discord fucking 3D modeled this like really quickly, and it's incredible.
This looks like a Mad God object.
It does, because it looks like you'd think like you see the eye and that catches your eye first, and you're like, oh, you can just draw that, but then you like see the horns, and then you see the fucking veins, and like this is sculpted.
There's texture.
Yeah. This comes from a throwaway line, which I thought was on the fucking borderline for being cut, which is when they put the jump drive down. Professor Firewire said that jump drive always have flesh and horns and a moving eye, and Stag says, whoa, no, that's new. And I thought that's a little like it's good enough. And now it has been retroactively vindicated because it made this shit be part of the world. Look at that.
So fucking cool.
So fucking cool.
Yeah. Hold on. I thought I downloaded it, but yeah, there was a little video in here. That was, a little video of it.
What?
Oh shit!
Blended.
I haven't seen this.
Oh my god!
Jesus.
The verb for this is sculpting, right? Like if you do this is considered sculpting, like on the computer.
Yeah. It's just like computer sculpting.
Yeah, in Blender, which is sick. Blender is also like free and open source, I think, right? Am I getting that wrong?
Is that what Worthy Kids uses?
Yes.
I love that guy.
This fucking Soul Calibur ass.
Yeah, that
is
dongle.
very Soul Calibur.
Yeah,
Soul still burns.
That game was, all of them are great. Although they did keep making the boobs bigger. That was a choice.
Yeah.
It is anime, basically.
Moves units, dude. Moves
Yeah.
units.
I love those games.
So yeah, there was a sketch.
Oh my god.
Very good.
Wow.
And
There's
then
more. There's another one.
yeah, there were a couple more actually. So there was hold on, let me. Where did they go? I can't see. I should have done this better before and had these more prepared, but I didn't. There we go. Yes, this is from Skelly in the Discord. This is fucking Tor
Wow.
client.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow.
This I thought I had seen it all, and then Skelly was like, "Oh, I did this fan art," and I was just glancing at this, and I thought, "No, this is like posting someone's posting a panel from a manga they are reading,
Yeah.
because it's in black and white." And I'm like, "This is a manga panel for sure." I'm blown away that this is an original Tor. Shit.
It's very Tor as well. It's very that Tor is thinking about web pages and stuff. Oh, that
Yes.
that reminds
Infinite
me.
web.
I thought the whole thing with Tor when they were like, you should be able to make your own websites. I thought it was gonna be a fucking Squarespace joke.
No.
But what it was better than that.
Yes.
They're talking about
Not that
the,
kind of
the
podcast.
good stuff. They're talking about GeoCities. They're talking about putting
Exactly.
a blinking chat room shit in the bottom.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that was yeah. I had to like Tor's not wrong. Like that was the thing. Like that was the one thing that like the audience reaction made me scared. Like, oh, is this not gonna go over the way I thought? Which is like when Tor was preaching and in full religiosity mode. Some people were like, "Oh, I hate this. Oh, I'm so uncomfortable." I'm like, "Oh no, Tor's right. Like, no, what you're supposed to be getting out of this is that Tor's correct." Like,
I thought it was so interesting that and I really liked the full on debate that Tor and Stack have of like these sort of competing feelings that are both correct of like, you know, the internet and its potential and the pure disappointment in what we actually have, you know, and how fucking cool like it is. So and you know, I was thinking about this like, you know, doing this show, that the show that we're on, and you know, y'all doing that show, and it's like how we were talking earlier about how we're forced to use like fucking Twitter in order to make art, and it's so fucking frustrating because it's like this is it is like the true potential of, you know, we were joking about how Jack was like Elon Musk is going to extend the light of consciousness with social media, but you know what the fucked up thing is that I agree with him, not about Elon Musk, but about like that this is like it is actually like the primal shit of the like connecting in new and interesting ways, and that is the real shit. That is fucking humanity, and like how I don't know, it like what we should be fucking doing is creating and connecting and having communities and fucking it's magical what we can do, and but we're forced to, instead of, you know, doing cool shit, just we're forced to post.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that we got both kind of perspectives, both anti-posting perspectives in this. You know, you get people like Nate Resolution, who is like the most well-adjusted man in human history because he's never seen a post and he's never been online. He just has a little coffee with his friend, and he's well-adjusted, and like, and Sherry to a certain extent too. You get this idea of like tactile art in the world it doesn't exist just to be profited off of, and all of that's great. But it's not throwing away, you know, technology. It's not a Luddite perspective. Ultimately,
I've had some of the most important things in my life have been online based. If I didn't have online in high school, I would have been a extremely miserable little guy.
Yeah. And I thought that was a really
fucked up.
really specifically like I was glad that Tor is like, because I know the voice actor uses they them. I'm not sure exactly how they identify, but it was, I mean, the whole thing felt
they're
like
non-binary. They're in the chat. I saw Phosphorus earlier. They're here.
Oh, hello. Yes. Yeah,
Yay.
because it felt like a very trans story to me of like, you know, and not unnecessarily something that is unrelatable to somebody who isn't trans, but certainly like I resonated a lot with kind of that idea of like, you know, being kind of assigned this body that I don't get a choice about. And how like and then also that part about like, you know, you were saying like if I didn't have the internet, I wouldn't, I mean, personally, if I didn't have the internet, I wouldn't be trans. I wouldn't know trans people fucking existed. Like, you know, it's so I wouldn't have, and you know, I'd be forced to have fucking garbage representation and all this stuff. So it's, yeah, I there like the answer is not that the internet is bad. It's just that, you know, capitalism fucking shitifies everything. And
I also just gotta say, as a fucking cishet white man, I really feel like I was playing Russian roulette with them every time I was writing Tor. I'm like, oh man, I really hope I don't say something real ignorant.
Well, you just have like such a deep bench of trans friends at this point that it was like at no point. Normally, when somebody trots out like a trans character and they're gonna write about transness and they're cis, it's like, oh boy, here we go. You know, like it's either
stick to professors having affairs, white boy. You know?
Yeah, or like it's gonna be cringe, or like it's gonna be well intentioned, but it's gonna be like a little schmoopy or like whatever, you know. Like, but with you, there was like no concern, period, about that.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, of course, it lived up to my, you know, high positive
I'm
expectation.
very
like,
pleased by that. I
Yeah.
mean, like I was like, I'll just, you know, I'll just be emotionally honest to the character. You know,
Yeah.
that'll always be true, right? How they feel, that'll always be true. But I'm just like, man, I don't fucking like. I'm faking. Like I literally am faking it. Like there's no no other way to say it. But like
everything except the one slur that was in there that was kind of weird is fine. No.
yeah, that wasn't theirs. That wasn't Torres to reclaim.
Yeah, certainly not yours. So, but anyway, no. Kidding.
And now I'm just like, is there's? I know Shorty calls their shield a gay little bubble, but that's not like a slur.
No, it was good. And there's just so many like transhumanist trans people who very much are like, get me out of this body. I want to be on Donette.
Oh
yeah,
so,
yeah.
that's so
jacking into Donette is so cool. Like I hate. I hate like smart devices and Internet of Things. I'm like, get the computer out of my house. But if I could put a jack in my neck and be a blue ghost on a grid and go whoosh, I would be doing that all goddamn day.
I wanted to
problems.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about fucking. This is something I've been wanting to talk about in this show in general, but I haven't found a place. There's this subreddit called r Void Punk, which is it defines itself. The community has the about thing says void punk is a subculture for those who have been dehumanized or claim their dehumanization. Many are told that all humans experience romantic or sexual attraction, are binary, cisgender, are neurotypical, or are white, etc. The subculture is those who don't match that criteria of humanity and don't want to match it. So it's like the idea of like identifying with the the angel avatar that they pick and kind of end up doing is very almost stereotypically void punk, where it's like, it's, you know, people that have been like dehumanized and they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, that's my gender actually. And it's very, I thought it was very yeah, like, see, this is like, that's Tor right there.
Yep,
that's fucking Tor. In
my head, Tor looks like Necron from Final Fantasy IX, except not evil.
Right.
If Necron was good, that's Tor. That's just my view. It's a fucking audio, so you can think of whatever you want.
Yeah. So that's very. I thought that was very, very cool. That whole thing.
So I know we've kept y'all longer than we said, so I want to make sure to release you guys, so that you can sit in the dark before you have to be on the computer for a job.
Yeah.
In a few hours.
I gotta do my stretches and eat a dinner.
Yes. But everyone, please listen to Sicko Shock 2 if you haven't. Subscribe to the Anime Sickos. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. What
you could be like this. We have one person, we said this on the episode, the behind the scenes, who like is not a fan of our show, like the talking guys, but they love our scripted stuff. And which is just so funny because that
It
ratio
really
is
is.
fucked.
Yeah, you have a lot of chat.
Yeah, how are they sticking around? Like God,
They're not.
Godspeed.
Oh, they're not. It's
They're
because
not.
I'll put them on blast because they know, like, one of their friends is a Sicko fan, and they're just like, I don't like these blathering fools. And they put on the sketch episode and like, oh, this actually is pretty good. And then like, oh no, they're back to blathering. And I was just like, oh, you like our scripted stuff? Like, help us out. We're writing a script now. But if you hate us but love our scripted stuff, just listen to Sicko Shock 2. Don't listen to other. We'll listen to other. Listen to our previous play, and then listen to Sicko Shock 2, and then you can leave. You don't gotta keep sticking around.
Until the next one.
It's really incredible. There's so much. I thought it was really cool that it's like cyber shit, like jacking into the computer in a visual medium is always like really hit or miss. Like it's really easy to do campily and fun, and but like if you're trying to be at all serious about it, it's really hard to do well. And so I thought it actually worked really well that it's a visual or like an audio medium where it's just like, oh yeah, these weird sounds are happening, and it's like you can imagine whatever the fuck you want.
And Tom has so much sincere love for Netrunner, just as like a thing that he would never like debase undermine it.
Like I talk on one of our blathering episodes, we talk about our slop weaknesses, which is like what's some shit that like even if it fucking sucks, you can't help but like. And for me, it's cyberpunk, and it's a really hard weakness to have because there's like no good cyberpunk media ever. Like the amount that's good is like statistically zero. It's like 0.00001%. So like basically every single piece of cyberpunk media fucking blows major ass, but I still love it.
And is very like orientalist and like racist against and is frequently like, I think the thing that's interesting about living in a cyber society is like augmenting your body, and like so much cyberpunk is like, but that's bad and it's gonna kill you, and
makes
it's
you evil.
I absolutely agree with that. That's also one of my top slop thing. So I was so pleased when I said this on Twitter. I was very pleased that it was the cyberpunk slop.
It is such a lame. Games do this. I think Days X had it, which is just like, oh, you have a metal arm now. Are you still a guy? And it's like, come on, man. Like,
oh, you have an IUD. Are you still a guy?
I take drugs that give me tits, and that makes it illegal for me to go to a bunch of countries. Like, that shit exists, and it's cool as fuck. And the good guys are not the ones questioning whether that makes you human or not.
I remember I read fucking Altered Carbon, think this is going to be a good cyberpunk book because like I know that the premise is so badass where everyone's like brain is just like a fucking like SD card that you can just put in any body. Bodies are all built with SD cards slots, and so like you get shot up, doesn't matter if you have like 3 bodies you bought last week, they'll just put your SD card in the new one. You're not dead anymore, and you can be any type of person you want. You can be totally different. The whole body can be so different from the old one you don't even remember what you were born as. I'm like, that's pretty cool. That never gets fucking explained. There's nothing. Like the guy's just like, I'm a badass man. I'm in a big titty babe body right now to sort of for the mission. But that's like, I don't like. I'm not feeling anything special about that. That's like nothing to me. And then like it ended up being about space Catholics. Like like the fucking like plot was like the Catholics don't believe in this. And are they right? And it's like, oh, are you Catholic, Mr. Author Man? Fuck this.
You got fucking Enders gamed.
I did.
Everybody's fucking getting Catholic. It's crazy.
But yeah, we should let you go. There is a very good just because I didn't get to say it, there's also a very good fan art on the Discord. Fan fiction that we read. It's extremely good. I don't think we have time to talk about it, but
the writer is in the chat.
Yeah,
so we got a little bit of
stick around about that. Just for that. I don't know if you would as well, Joe. But if you're gonna read that, like it's so fucking good. Like it's.
I
so
did
good.
read
Like,
it.
I
I
can't
did
believe
read it.
happened.
Yes, yeah. It really just like builds upon, you know, where the world could be 3 years after 42069. And having Stack and Bert work together is just a perfect rehabilitation for Stack. It's very well done.
Yeah.
I mean, I say bring that shit up on the screen.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
sure.
I gotta do some chores, so I'm gonna dip out. It was
Oh,
wonderful.
absolutely.
This was
Thank-
wonderful.
yes.
Thank you for having me. And is
Yeah.
it Wednesdays? You do this? Is it weekly?
It's usually
we do.
Fridays.
Okay.
But we get
Yeah.
crazy with it.
Okay. Cool.
It's
Well,
usually Fridays during the day. This is our shit. But if you don't catch them live, the VODs stay on Twitch, and also on the YouTube. If you go to at Dr. Devin Price on YouTube, you can find all the VODs, which I'm gonna start editing. This is the first one that I'm recording all of the tracks separately, so expect an edit. But yeah, it was really incredible to have you guys on the show. I'm a huge fan, so thank
this
you so
was
much.
Very fun. Thank you so much. And if you just need two idiots to jump on for a little bit to yammer, you know where we are.
Yeah, we should do it
Yeah.
again for sure. Yeah, I think we should do more evenings too because this is going so well. This is
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
All right.
Even if you
All right.
guys.
Yeah.
See,
Thanks for being here, Joe. Bye.
So,
Bye.
dude, you know the growing download file that I have. That do I just?
It'll stop. It'll stop. Okay. It should stop when you end the call, and then I don't know. I'll get in touch. You can send it to me on Google Drive or something. I've never done this. I don't know if it's gonna work. But
Okay, I'm going to hit. I will hit X on this.
Yeah, you should be
Here
able
we
to
go.
end the call. Should be fine. Yeah. All
See ya.
right. Good night,
Bye.
Joe.
All right, let's do that.
All right,
I'll
yeah.
do this shit and then I gotta go.
All right.
It's just
beautiful,
so
yeah.
fucking good. I had to hear it again. I can't believe it's all my
Yes.
guys. It's all my guys, except I didn't do it.
Yeah, but it really just has the sense of humor, and yet builds out and expands on the world. It's so fucking good.
So yeah, we I don't know if we want to actually read some of this or what we want to. I'm down for whatever, but basically it's for those of you who have listened to the whole thing. It's Stack Overflow, the cop and the detective teaming up. 3 years later have teamed up. Stack has joined Bert in detectiving, and we get to hear more about the guy that has to take his shoes off when he takes a shit.
Which I think has been. I'm gonna go ahead and say canonically this guy's name is Hard Reset because his brother Password Reset also has this issue.
Right.
And someone in this Discord, someone in the chat said, brother should be named Hard Reset. I'm like, that's really fucking good.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's Hard Reset.
Oh yeah, and there was also
it's a family trait.
Brandon, who did the USB drive, also did this piece,
yes.
Unfinished piece, which is really good.
That's so good. You said that's unfinished? That looks complete to me.
I know, that's what I thought.
Emotional
It's there. You don't
resonance
need
is
any more.
there. Yeah. It's like a New Yorker cartoon or something.
But yeah.
God damn.
So what was it like? Has there been fucking Shuffle Quest fan fiction? Have you had fan fiction yet?
Well, Shuffle Quest has a much smaller reach than Anime Sickos. Shuffle Quest had some fan art at the beginning, which was excellent. Don't know where that all is. Did not save that well enough. But it was there. There was fan art of that. But no fanfic. And Modesty City had Sarah McClintock did a manga adaptation of the scene where Sasuke Godsphere appears above the Inquisitor's platform when Rachel Godsphere is putting rocks on a guy who refuses to say that Trigun is not good. She did a manga adaptation of that, which was astonishing. I am always a little ashamed that apparently the only pictures he had of me of reference were when I had not shaved in a while due to pure laziness. So I have a shitty mustache, and I'm just like, no, that's not. I didn't do that on purpose. That just happened. That just came out of my face. But whatever, that's not our fault. That's the closest we've gotten. This is the first time there's been like fucking new material based on some shit I wrote, and it is exhilarating because it's good.
And it's really good. And it was like what, 2 days later? I think it was like just really quickly.
Incredible. And so we've kind of got this like it's like this. Not quite a utopia yet, but it's like a communist rebuilding of society. Everybody gets a 1 pair of shoes per week allowance, which is pretty generous.
The fucking reveal, like the line where Stack's like, wait a minute, one pair of shoes a week is a lot. Like, because that was like me too. Because I was like, oh, you only get 1 voucher a week. Oh, maybe it's not so great. And then I'm like, wait a minute, that is great. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, communism. You only get 1 pair of shoes a week for free. But for this guy, it's a problem because his keep getting stolen when he's taking a shit.
Yeah. I did. It reminded me a little bit of Disco Elysium, of the like, it's like clearly pro-communist, but it's also like in a communist utopia that is not like totally utopian in every way yet. So that's a very good vibe that I always want more of.
Yeah, the cops are sent to re-education camps, though Stack Overflow is busted out of it.
Because he can hang, because Tor said he can hang.
Yeah, he's kind of cool. Yeah. They're talking about vaping. Oh my god, let me find the part where they talk about vaping. That part.
Yeah, they talk about how cigarettes are old shitty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have it on screen. The cigarettes are another thing to get used to. Stack had never seen one before meeting Bert, but the man seemed to have them in unlimited supply. His understanding was that they were some prehistoric kind of vape that tasted like car exhaust instead of jalapeno mint or electric Baja Blast.
So good.
I think this might not be canon because Stack says that smoking looks badass in the fiction, but that's fine.
True.
I don't
That's
care.
True.
This is so minor. Who could ever object? Not me.
Well, they were just
my
they were
favorite
talking about
line...
vaping, obviously, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you in that headcanon.
Mm-hmm. My favorite line is where Bert says something to the effect of like, "You get out of here. No one messes with Bert Hardjob and gets away with it." And then the next line from the omniscient narrator is like, "This is untrue. Many people have messed with Bert Hardjob over the years and have faced no consequences whatsoever." And I'm just like, that is like, you get it. That's it. Yep. That's
the character.
That's
He's
Bert.
this grizzled loser, like lovable. He's taking some L's in his day.
Yeah. He's a loser.
I think
he was gonna live his rest of his life out fucking doing nothing, feeling sad.
I think I need the fanfic. I need the slash fic of Stack Overflow and
Nate.
And Nate. Yeah, they need that's my one big criticism is they should have kissed sloppy style.
Now, did you expect that to be part of the fan reaction that we wanted them to kiss? Oh yeah.
Yeah. I didn't make it explicit, but like it is impossible to read that without some homoerotic energy. Like they're really falling in love. Like it's so obvious.
They should have boned before.
Didn't Nate die? Yes, Nate was fucking killed. Level 9 enforcement actions is an execution. And you recall Todd Kill said he would do it every time if he could.
He's very dead.
Sorry.
Well, there needs to be the slash fiction where actually he didn't get killed because of reasons.
We have those. They can do that.
Yeah.
All right, now I do have to go. I just wanted to talk about and look at that fake because it's so goddamn good. It makes me warms my heart that it exists in the dang world that really my guys are living on. Because I really fall in love with these 5 guys, and like they're my guys. I'm like thinking about them all the time. Like, what are they gonna do?
You're like
we fell in love with them too.
We did.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you're like James Cameron and his blue people.
Yeah, I can't think of
Doesn't
the
suck.
way.
It isn't a weird Dances
Wolves.
with Wolves story with white dreadlock people.
Yeah, you did it better. You didn't have any of that, so already a better
Yes.
story.
Yes.
All right. Well, you've been so nice to me. I love this. It makes it all worth it. Hell
No.
yeah.
It was a lot of work, and it was a great accomplishment. So thank you
Yeah.
for
And
Good
thank you for
paste. Yeah, can we
saying.
get a good paste in the
Yeah,
chat?
good paste in the chat.
Thank you, Devin, for saying I'm hot wheat. I'm hot meat. I'm so sweaty it's fucked. I'm hot meat. I'm wet meat and I'm glistening. I believe your line was.
Oh yeah, you bet. Yes. Oh yeah.
I knew you would love that line. You did a great job saying it. I really believe that you were glistening.
Sweaty. It was this time
He al-
last year, so I was.
Yeah, he always is. So.
Yeah. All right. This was so fun. Yeah, if you ever need us to just yammer, we love yammering
Please.
and not doing any work.
We will
Yes,
take you
we'll
up
bring
on
you
that.
back. Yes. All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, and now it's the I don't know what we are. We're not sickos. Well, we're sickos too, but you know,
We are. Yeah, we don't.
it's our block.
We
Yeah.
need a fun name for us and our fans.
Yes. Yeah. Once we have a fandom name, we can be really toxic.
Yeah. It's got to be something gross like Lovies.
Oh my god, yeah, lambs, things like that. Okay, so what do we feel like doing? Do we want to watch the NPC TikToks or do we want to read some Agnes? What are we feeling?
Well, I think it might be hard to read. I do really want to talk about those weird those weird TikToks, but also yes, thank you. If there's I know we have some new sickos in the chat. Thank you everybody for coming out. If there was one audience outside of like obviously Devin's audience that existed, which is what most of the people are, which is like obviously those people are cool as hell and we wanted those people. But if there was one other audience that I think I wanted was to capture was sickos. So welcome.
Yes.
Thanks for hanging
That's
out.
sicko synergy. Yes. We do all kinds of weird shit on here. Sometimes we play games. Mostly we talk about discourse. We have lots of guests. We do all kinds of things. And so we're gonna continue doing weird shit tonight.
Yeah, this is a piss course. You're in front of it.
The piss is behind me.
So this is a little bit delayed piss course, but I was just so fascinated by this. And I don't know that I have like a point or like a thing. I think we should discover together what this means. But a couple weeks ago, people started talking about like NPC fetish videos. Oh, I forgot I bookmarked the first one where people were talking about it, but that tweet got deleted. So I'm gonna have to see if I can find the original video.
Yeah, because I've just seen iterations on this idea. I don't know what patient zero was or what the fuck is going on. Yes, it's the ice cream so tasty.
So this is
ice cream so good.
What is this? Pinky doll on TikTok.
yeah. So that's an explain. Let's see if I can. So I don't think it's just we're.
Woman, take a jog.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Woman. Hee ha, yes. The guy feeling like a cowgirl. Let me read it, huh? Take you who? Take you pro. Ice cream so good. Yeah, strong woman. Gang, 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 gang. That was good. Coconut. Gang, 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 gang.
This is a
Yes.
full stream, so this is like
Oh
an
my
hour
God.
of this.
Gang, gang.
Wow, she must really enter like a heightened mental state doing this for that long.
Yeah, it's nuts. So this was the first one that people got talking about. And people were really fucking confused by it. One of my mutuals tweeted that they saw it like because the video was going around on Twitter, like for a long a time, like they saw it a bunch of times before they realized that they're popping popcorn with a fucking hair straightener, which is like what I also didn't realize. So I think what's happening is that they're sending emojis, and the emojis
Yes.
cost like fucking a cent, or maybe even less than a cent, or some couple cents. And so they get like one little like gang gang, like they send an emoji and they get gang gang, and so it's
Right.
like sex work, like a normal a cam person, but like microtransactions.
Right. Yeah. It's like Chatterbait when, $30 gets you 3 minutes of the fucking machine going at a faster speed, but it's her with the cowboy hat on
Yeah,
is all you get.
for one sound, right? So
Yeah.
it's just it's really fascinating. I don't even know like how I feel about it, and this is why we didn't talk about it before. Was just because I don't even know. I don't even know how I feel about it. It's just so there were some other ones.
Donuts, yum! Where is this?
No spicy.
Now, what I like about it as a freak is that it is very like robotic and dehumanizing, and it's like you say what to do and the person does it. So I can completely see why it's hot.
Yeah.
Why it's the specific things that they're doing, I don't necessarily understand, but I guess I don't know if it matters what it is they're actually doing.
Yeah.
We got there. Okay,
For
so you guys
people.
want me to stay.
See,
Get me to 120,000 likes and I'll stay.
yeah, and I'm also curious, like, it's definitely a fetish for some people, but is it a fetish for everyone, like, that is watching it? Because it seems like such a specific fetish that it's
I think it is and it isn't, right? Like, like I feel like this scratches a lot of different itches. Like, what is it, Bella
Yeah.
Porch or whatever, who like became I think that's the one who became famous on TikTok for just doing those like big eye like movements and like mouth like bouncing to like a beat, and it was like very cutesy, but like I guess sexy just because she was like a very cute, youthful young woman, pretty woman doing these things. That it's like I think
is she the one that
it's
did the original Hey Boomer?
is she?
I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know her name, but there's definitely overlap in that like primordial TikTok thing, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think there's just this funnel of like a couple of different things all come together and result in this. So like you do have like just porn advertisements and like porn games and what those look like, and what just like seeing those on the sidebar while you're looking at the actual porn that you're enjoying, like what that does to your brain. Chatterbait, streaming, and then just like we have like multiple generations at this point of people who have had waifus from video games and anime and stuff like that just are like into like a very dehumanized like fake artificial person for like a bunch of different reasons, whether it's like bimbo, like robotification, or just like general like hot girl who's uncanny in some way, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And I think it's
because
also,
it is so specific otherwise.
Yeah, and I think it's also like even if it's not like people doing it because it's their specific fetish, whether they realize it or not, I think it's also like and this gets to a thing that I've been thinking a lot about, how it's like TikTok and the internet in general, like it like really by evolution in almost like, because so many people are trying so many things, I think we're finding like corners of the human brain that are that haven't been touched before. It's like we're learning how to like like just poke these little like parts of our brain, and it's not even really a bad thing. It's just a very strange thing, and I think that's why, like, we were talking earlier about like the farting Elsa Spider-Man like children's YouTube shit, where it's just like, because there's so many people trying it, and they're it's this hyper, like, the people trying things to like something working and then more people doing it, that pipeline is so fucking fast that the evolution of online content is so fucking fast. And so we're like learning all of these weird ways in which to like poke little places in our brain that just make our brain go, and it's just like it's just long enough to stay on a TikTok live for a second and donate 12 cent, 2 cents. And this is one of those things where it's like certainly the whales that are giving a lot of money are certainly like, this is a specific fetish and they're getting off on it. But I think it's like for the same reason that people are getting off on it is the same reason that like most people, if they see this on TikTok, scrolling through TikTok, they're gonna stay for at least for a little while and be like, because it's hitting something like really deep.
Yeah, I think that reminds me of a conversation people have had about like, why did we not have ASMR until we had ASMR? Like, why is there suddenly this explosion of interest in sensory input? And some people's take on it is that we're living in a very, very dissociated time, right? We just don't get as much sensory input that's like satisfying as we used to. We get bombarded with like artificial noises, but we don't get really anything like tactile and grounding. And then other people, their theory is just like, well, we never had audio equipment of this quality before. And you really don't get the ASMR tingles when you're actually using a mortar and pestle or whatever the fuck, like unless you put your ear really close to it. And so people just did not know that like those tappings and things like set them off. So I feel like there's something similar going on here too, where like I reblogged something yesterday from that guy who thinks that COVID made him not autistic anymore and made him bisexual. Context Machine. My favorite dude.
Oh my God. I've only seen the original post. I didn't know there was like more to that story.
Oh my God. It's honestly, actually, we could do a whole episode about Context Machine because he's like fascinated for me. He once held a Taylor Swift themed pinball tournament when he was in a manic phase. All these weird things. But he talks about how like when he was autistic, he used to like try to understand people based on like a series of inputs. Like, okay, if I say this thing, it'll make this person happy. And like, it was all very analytical. And now he just can run purely off of vibes and doesn't have to plan what he's going to say. He just kind of like walks up to someone like with this plan of like, I'm without a plan. Like, he's just like, I'm going to talk to this girl and see if she wants to talk to me, rather than like, oh, I'm going to bring up this thing and then I'm going to say this thing and whatever. And like, I feel like there's something about human nature, all of us, autistic or not, where we do want to understand like what input is going to have what effect on somebody, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there's something satisfying about like, I actually know exactly what this person's going to do if I hit this button. Like, humans are never that predictable. Like, and that can be a power thing, that can be a fetish thing, or it can just be like, wow, that's so fucking weird. Like,
yeah.
If that makes any sense, I don't know.
No, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. I think that makes perfect sense. And yeah, I mean, just that power over somebody is definitely like you're spending 1 cent and you are controlling a real person is certainly, that's powerful, like fetish content. But also like, even if it's not a sexual thing for you, that's like a powerful feeling.
Like being able to control a crane game in Japan,
right,
from thousands of miles away, was exciting, right?
Right.
So like,
yeah. Gosh, I was trying to find. So there's some more of these we can. We can watch this one.
Oh, this person's very uncanny.
I think they're also using face filters too, to make it even more.
Yeah.
But they're clearly really skilled.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, like, because that was like, it's building on existing TikTok trends. Like, people had like where they were doing like fighting game resting animations.
Yeah.
That was a big TikTok trend for a while.
Lulu Fink says, "Oh my God, people are microdosing being millionaires." Which,
yeah,
being
literally.
able to control people.
Are there any femboys who have done this yet? Is it all women?
It seems like there must be. But people were here's just another one.
That's a lot of meat. I love
gummies. Big hug. That's a lot of meat. I need to go back to my therapist.
Forgot about that.
Oh wow! So she broke character. Is that allowed? How often do they break character on this? I'm curious.
Oh, I have to see if I have the fucking I have the one where this motherfucker was doing it at his like at his job, and his job was a fucking cashier. And so when like somebody came up to him, let me see if I can fucking find that one. It was a while later. Oh man, maybe it's got deleted, or I didn't bookmark it. Oh, it was on Reddit. That's right. Hold on. Let's see if it's still there. It was on fucking, I think it was on, I was like on, how the fuck do I even find my saved posts on this piece of shit website?
Oh, on Reddit? You have to go to your profile, and then it's at the top. This happens to me every time I'm trying to look at porn gifs that I've saved.
Yeah, this is cringe TikToks, which seems like it sucks ass. Like, this was not something I follow. This was like came up on my page, like was suggested to me, and it seems like a really nasty, like.
Oh yeah, it's like Tumblr in action kind of shit.
Yeah, or like, yeah, but this shit was fucking wild.
All right, may I have the phone number for the account?
So yeah, see, he was doing this, and then somebody comes up.
All right, may I have the phone number for the account? 732-226.
And he fucking actually gave his fucking number.
Oh shit. Oopsie. And you can kind of see it on his face, like, oh shit, I didn't think this through.
Yes, Lakewood,
now,
that's where I am right now. Thank you.
He says his fucking location, which seems nuts.
Don't dox yourself. Oh.
Maybe this is all fake because, like, but I mean, he's actually in a fucking.
Okay, or what?
Yeah. It's possible he's in some warehouse with like an existing like workplace uniform and like, but I mean, if this is real, he was the overemployed king, you know? It's not just for those of us with 2 office jobs. Have 2 service jobs at the same time. Fuck it. I'd let you know, it won't be long before we see an Uber driver who does this. Like,
oh yeah, fuck.
No question.
Yeah, it just reminds me, I think it was I'm not gonna be able to pull it up right this second. I think it was it Tom McHenry? I swear it was. I know it was somebody I found through Sickos, but it was a comic that was just like somebody goes into a gas station and they're like trying to buy something from the register, and the guy's like, wait, what? Oh, hold on, because he's fucking in a VR headset being a virtual person at a virtual desk while also being in a real gas station being a cashier in the real gas station.
It's so good. That's how it's gonna be for all of us.
Yeah.
Soon. A lot of people were in the chat were mentioning the Victorian girl one. Is that?
Yeah, I have those in the bookmarks. I was gonna bring that up.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Because that shit is hilarious.
I wasn't sure if it was the one we already saw with the scary.
No. Okay. First, apparently Timbaland was the #1 viewer on a recent TikTok live from that first person.
I love this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Here's her.
Timbaland. Oh, Timbaland in the building. Oh yeah, we're going there. We're going to Pluto and everything. Where you at?
I think he like spent some like thousands of dollars on this shit or something.
Oh my god. He's a patron of the arts.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that. You know, we have to be careful in how we expose this. We should celebrate it. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
it's great that he's balling out on a working performer. You know,
it's so. There's just so many layers to this shit, right? You're seeing all my fucking bookmarks now. Yeah, so this is the Victorian girl who's just fucking this is
Oh, she's consumptive.
this is like turning this shit into art.
Wow.
Mama, I've coughed up the red. Oh, food. Please, sir, may I have some more? Oh, I do love bears. Oh, food. Please, sir, may I have some more? No peppers, only mushy peas. Oh, food. Please, sir, may I have some more? Oh, food. Please, sir, may I have some more? Thank you for the gift. I'm hallucinating. Mother, I need more medicine. Oh, food, please, sir, may I have some more?
She's
Oh my
a fucking
God.
genius.
And this does illustrate to me, though, like how much skill goes into it, because there was just her transitions were just a little bit less consistent, you
Yeah.
know, or she was rushing to get multiple ones. I mean, no hate on her. It's just like the contrast between that and some of the people who were that we saw first, who maybe have been doing it for hours and hours and hours.
Right.
Like, it's such a skill set to be able to just maintain composure and do it all at a consistent tempo every single time, and process some info.
Callisto says, I feel like I'm being MK Ultra programmed watching these.
Well, I will also, the resting animation in that one also made me realize, oh, it's like dollification too. Like that's
Yeah.
another thing that's hardcore. Like the people that are into like freezing, people being dolls, people being wind up toys, that's a long-standing fetish. Like, it's appealing, even though it's very specific, it's appealing to a lot of different kinds of freaks, I feel.
Here's another one of her.
Oh, Rosa, I do miss the garden.
Ooh.
Oh, food, please, sir, may I have some more? Oh, food, please, sir, may I have some more? A nice lolly, I do love sugar. Oh, food, please, sir, may I have some more? Oh, Rosa, I do miss
She's just beatboxing.
Oh, Rosa, I do miss the garden. No peppers, only mushy peas.
I like how you can see how she's like gotten better at it
I'm
too.
hallucinating.
Yes.
Oh, Mama. I can't read. Oh, Rosa, I do miss the garden. I do not wish to look in a mirror. Oh, Rosa, I do miss the garden.
Now she's like a
Papa says
Bloodborne
I've
character.
got consumption.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, Rosa, I do miss the garden.
Wow.
Oh my fucking god.
The movements are so Bloodborne now.
So I feel
little
it
Grimes and jump scare there. That's how I feel.
Yeah, just I think people were talking. I can't find it. There was this interesting thread that I didn't talking about it that I don't know if I agreed with, but it was basically just saying it was like the hyper. It's like what being in a service industry job is, but like hyper like focused, just like
Emotional labor.
yeah,
like actual emotional labor
of like pretending to, you have like having to pretend to do these little actions is like this weird mirror to like what it's like to work in a service industry. Okay, here we go. Yeah. I don't know if I even agreed with all of this, but I thought it was an interesting take. Honestly, I don't know. So Michael Hobbs actually said, this is less demeaning than like 80% of the jobs I've had, which is fair.
You're making money,
Yeah.
Shit.
When I worked at Safeway, they told us to look over people's shoulders at their checks so we could say, have a nice day, Miss Johnson, or whatever. First job in college was selling frozen steaks over the phone. We had a whole flow chart of responses in case people were like, we can't afford it, or my wife wouldn't want me to do this. And this person says, honestly, I don't know. As someone who worked retail a lot, the TikTok live stuff seems like the platonic ideal of a demeaning customer service job. Just eliminates all pretense and distills it down to a queue of strangers paying a penny or two apiece to feel a sense of control over you. Like, this is a functionally the same thing. The obfuscation of the fact the customer paid you to say their name is the only thing that lets you keep a shred of dignity. It also stood out as the most demeaning part of your job, and this job's entirely that. When saying like about reading people's checks over their shoulder.
Right. I mean, part of it just that makes it different is just how much more money people are making, and that the fact that they have a little bit more control over when they do it and how they do it, right?
Right.
Well,
even
though you're still,
I think the big people are making a lot of money, but I don't know if that's like, I'm sure there are a lot of people that aren't, right? So I think that's an important thing to keep in mind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. People are chasing after it in the same way. Like most people who made an OnlyFans, like the average income on OnlyFans is like a very small amount every month. You know, it was not the this liberating force that people want to believe that it is. Yeah.
Right.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, I think I think it is interesting, but it just gets into that whole thing of like, you know, the ethicalness of sex work, which of course it is ethical, but it's like the way in which capitalism, you know, we're all kind of like forced to do these fucked up things, like things that we might not necessarily want to do. And it's like, yeah, of course it's ethical for you to sell your labor in any way, but the inherent like gun behind your head of capitalism is like creating an unjust power dynamic for all of us in all of our jobs. And I think it's like an interesting distillation of, like they said, just like that people paying a pittance to have this amount of control over you, which, like, you know, again, all of these people are you know, should be able to do that, but it's, yeah, it definitely feels like, I don't know, I'm not finding the words, but it's like it's an interesting magnification of what we're all doing all the time.
Yeah, because there's a part of what appeals to this, of what makes this work appealing to people, that is, you know, things that are glamorized. Like a lot of people, you know, think they or do want to be influencers, do want to like have a large audience and all of these things. And a lot of young people, you know, that's what they aspire to instead of being a celebrity, or that's what they fantasize about instead of like the way that people of our generation like fantasized about being like a rock star or like an actor or whatever. But you know, the fact that those are the things that are like the landscapes of our dreams is already obviously such a like commodified, dehumanizing thing, that like it was never good to begin with, right? Like already like fantasizing about being a dehumanized commodity was already pretty terrible. Even for the actors who like make a lot of money doing it, it can still make their life hell on earth. And like being an influencer is a terrible lifestyle with just constant stress and inconsistency in income and just really dehumanizing shit. And, you know, vouching for all these sponsors that you don't believe in. And like, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of kids now like really fantasize, from what I've heard, like fantasize about becoming streamers. And like, that's one where it's like, it can obviously be super fun and social, right? But it can also still be super grueling, and most people don't actually make any money off of it. And and the people who do it eats up their whole life. And so I guess this is a similar thing too, in that way,
right?
I feel like, and you're still ultimately beholden to whatever app you're doing it on, TikTok or Twitch or whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's sad that because people just so badly, and this goes into, you know, what we were talking about, like the real world ramifications of all the things in Sicko Shock 2, where it's just like, you know, we're all so desperately want to create art and create things and share things and connect with people and all this stuff, and we're just so shackled to what we can fucking make money off of, like, you know, like it's and then the whims of the websites, like even if you've managed to find some fucking weird niche like that, it's like, at any time somebody can just change the fucking algorithm and you'll never see another dime overnight. Like, like,
Yeah. Capybara said a big part of it, I think, is that kids can tell that normal jobs suck ass and are getting worse constantly.
yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, the appeal of them is very understandable. Like a lot of these jobs, like this idea of like, oh, I can just hop on TikTok live for an hour and make $5,000 or whatever. But like the people again who are doing that, like those are like again Trisha Paytas numbers, somebody who was YouTube famous for years. Like most people can't actually get the freedom and control over their life and their schedule and how they dress and how they present that they like think it's going to promise them. But it's a very natural thing to want, like, or makes sense to me for sure.
Yeah, somebody said their cousin. Yeah, Lulu Fink says my 12-year-old cousin aspires to be a drop shipper. It's so fucked.
Wow. Oh my god. That's wild that they even like. I mean, I guess we used to sell Cutco knives and fucking multi-level marketing schemes like that as kids too. But it's weird that they like know and are thinking about that.
Yeah. Oh hey Malacode, what's up? And most people were told. They say, and most people were told not to learn a trade. They also, though, also most of the old men who gatekeep trades make most people feel unwelcome. On top of that, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, lots of like I think it's definitely one of those things that like not only is it weird on a like quote unquote weird on a surface level, but it's also like, I don't know, it definitely feels like it's an interesting little niche thing on the internet because it feels like it puts a magnifying glass on all of these ways that we treat each other and the way that that's commodified, and that doesn't make what they're doing bad for sure. Or like, I think that a lot of people wanted to have like a moral panic about it, and I definitely don't. I think that that sucks. Like, but it is. It really does. We really do live in a society.
Yeah. It just goes back to that whole like when we say sex work is work, like and work sucks. Like it's not like, oh, it's not like, oh, it's cool that people have to do that.
Right.
None of these things can be as authentic an expression of joy and passion as however they would be if they weren't like under coercion. But like, yeah, just because it's weird to look at and it's hard to explain doesn't mean it's like especially nefarious. Like it's as creepy as Twitch streaming, like I don't think it's actually any more evil than Twitch streaming. And Twitch streaming is, people have died from Twitch streaming for too long and not sleeping, like it's a fucked up incentive structure.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the TikTok influencer thing is also the myth that Uber and Instacart sells, that you can make your own money and be your own boss. Yeah.
Yep. And that MLMs have always told people,
Yeah. I had this terrible thought. I love craft shows, and we went to one recently, and I got some really cool stuff, and I was just like, I don't know, I was just thinking about how like, man, that's like, what is the fucking hourly rate of like making your own, like making shit to sell at a craft fair? It probably was like really bad.
Oh, it's awful. From everything I've heard from like knitters, like crocheters, you spend so much on materials. Like what my sister charges for the stuff she makes, it only just recoups the materials expense, not the like 20-25 hours that goes into making something, and that's something small.
Yeah.
And then you also have to pay fees to be at those craft shows, and a lot
Right.
of those are
And
actually
travel
really
to them.
predatory. Yeah, and so those can be really exploitative. Just like conference fees are a total scam for a lot of different conferences, and you're the one like providing the reason that people come there and pay it for a ticket, and yet you don't get a cut. You're paying to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got to be absolutely brutal.
Yeah, Etsy
I don't
and
know many people.
yeah,
make a living off
that Callisto and like fucking Etsy. Yeah, Etsy is particularly fucking evil, which sucks ass because so many of the things that people like, so much of that shit is so fucking cool. Like the things people make and
yeah, Etsy takes a huge cut now. It's really increased. They're also just internally, the way they treat their workers, actually, who just do like the white collar stuff, is also absolutely horrible. And I know because I've heard from their neurodivergent employees after an Etsy subsidiary hired me to do a neurodiversity workshop for them.
Oh God.
And literally they were deleting comments from the chat, like when I was saying in my workshop that like key logging and screen monitoring softwares are horrible for neurodivergent employees and they don't improve productivity and you shouldn't have them. A bunch of employees were putting in the chat, we have that. Our bosses monitor everything we do on the computer and it sucks. And I couldn't see them ask any questions because they were just deleted by HR. And then the talk was ended early. So that was at Reverb, which is like a sound company that Etsy bought. If anyone's curious. Yeah.
Mellow Code. I've also never had a good paying custom craft job that didn't have terrible consequences in one way or the other. Yeah. Yeah, we just want to make cool shit. We just want to make cool shit and give it and, put it out there and be able to sell it and not have it all be fucking terrible. But we live in a world like where everybody is in shitifying everything as fast as fucking possible. And it's a weird time, and it's especially a weird time because of, Twitter, the way, Elon Musk is actively fucking up Twitter, and every other social media company is just like, yeah, we like what he's doing.
Let's copy that. It's so bizarre.
Yep.
Yeah, and people are talking about AI making this even harder in the chat.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, Lulu thinks I was almost about to say like, oh, one of the only places where I know people find writing jobs that are like sustainable have been like technical writing or like science writing or grant writing. And fucking a lot of companies they can't quite do it for grant writing yet, but for everything else, they're trying to reach for AI. It's fucking scary.
Which it's like, regardless of the way that is bad for workers, it's also just bad. Like AI doesn't work half the time and is fucked up.
Yep. And yes, yeah, no, technical writing is also terrible. The people I know who do it, some of them in 80-hour work weeks, it's still not good. Yeah, contracting with the government. Yep. Same from the people I've heard who do that work. It sucks dick.
Yep. You know what we should do?
What should we do? Oh, yeah.
We should do Freak of the Week.
That would be a good palate cleanse.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Everybody, all the new people are like, what the fuck is happening?
So everyone, we have a segment called Freak of the Week where we look at animals usually that are very freaky and celebrate them. And we are always accepting submissions for new Freaks of the Week to add to our queue. So please hit our Tumblr ask boxes if you have freaks to nominate, or email us or whatever.
Yeah, the idea was really like specifically like obscure species of animals. So like, weird animal, cute or freaky little guys that maybe you've never seen before. And we're gonna like look at cute videos of them and also learn about them. But then also it recently has kind of expanded into not just animals, but also like weird machines and a little guy. Like, have we done? Yeah. So if you have anything that isn't an animal, also submit that. But yeah, the main idea is
to be a freak, a lovable freak
that we can find a bunch of videos on, or at least some. So let's see. I did not prepare ahead of time, so I don't have a specific one in mind. Let's just do what was this? This was the most recent one I added to the doc. Oh yeah. So this is a bit a little guy that is just
What the fuck? What?
I really like
What are we
this
looking
art.
at? Is that
yeah.
one of those worm? Like it looks like
That's a
the
bird.
body of a bird, and then one of those fake toy worms with the eyeballs.
It's a bit turn. They stand in this to hide in reeds. This one is not in reeds currently. So yeah, this is a bit turn. Let's find some more video. Let's see if we can. Yeah, so they're pretty normal looking. They're very pretty though.
Oh, so they just go freak mode temporarily.
Yeah, they do that.
Oh, long boy.
Yeah, let's go to YouTube and see if we can find one of these boys going freak mode.
Yeah, engaging it in the process of elongifying.
Here's a lot of calls. Well, let's start there, actually. What do these guys sound like?
I think my favorite is the veteran right in the very middle of the...
This is like one of those whale sleep sounds
yeah.
machines. Oh, helpful photo. This is very relaxing.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's like a stringed instrument.
It's like we're at an ambient show.
Get the fucking...
Bitterns make that cool
guy.
sound by inflating their esophagus. That apparently gives them the tide of air that they need to make that territorial call.
Just like fucking...
Yes, whip that shit out. Yes. Every ambient show ever. Well, like
Bring
it's
out
like
the
9 dudes are just standing with a beer, like
with the fucking folding table. Bittern, we want to see them hiding.
Yeah.
He's not going long, but
no. He's kind of potato mode right now.
The Argos's throat game very, very, very strong.
Nancy Reagan bird.
Oh my
I
God.
see. Yes.
The throat goat. Look at his eyes.
It's so stupid. It's got just a big, glorious egg of a body and then 2 little stick-on eyeballs.
Yeah.
Oh. Do you think that's good to eat? I think that'd be like a nice little pheasant.
It's a bird, so it's probably gonna taste like a bird. And birds taste good, most of them.
Yeah, most birds are pretty good.
I want him. Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah, this might be it. The motion. Oh. This is also giving Disco Elysium in a different way. Very
yeah.
end of that game.
We got some.
The Phasmid.
Oh God.
Ooh. Oh, it's moving in such a reptilian manner.
Oh yeah, they use their long necks to hunt too.
Oh, I didn't know they were meat eaters like that.
Slurp that neck up like a long noodle. Oh my God, look at him.
That's beautiful.
That's really cool.
They're so flexible. The neck can just take on so many different shapes.
love that they
Oh
go
my-
potato mode.
That's literally how Dump Truck sits in his house. He goes potato.
Yeah. It looks like he's taking a shit.
Yeah. He's like hunched. He's like
He's got your posture.
he's got my iconic posture. Hey. What are you guys up to? Walks into the room. Watches what you're watching on TV from behind the couch.
Now you got to learn how to do the opposite of the long neck stretch too.
Yoga, biturn yoga.
It's not Bikram yoga, it's biturn yoga.
Biturn yoga.
Yeah. Somebody was saying they're starting to do persona drawing. Yeah, you should put that in the chat.
Yes, tell us you're at.
That was part of the reason we wanted to do this was persona species inspiration.
Yes. There's enough foxes and puppy dogs and sexy bears out there.
Yes.
We need more bittern sonas.
Yeah.
So yes, please put your @ and any of your furry art in the chat if you are comfortable, because this is a furry space. So
yeah, this is
once again, the wolves get forgotten. No, wolves are very widely exposed in the furry community. You're not going to tell me. There's plenty of wolves.
But
and
yeah,
we love them.
And please send us suggestions for in pretty much anywhere.
Freaks.
Yeah, Twitter
Yes.
messages, Tumblr asks are an easy way to do it.
Yes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
environmental scientist, yes, please.
Ooh.
Give us all the freak animals. That's very important.
Yes. Yes, we want to learn all the freaks. Much. Yeah, I'm looking at this Agnes Callard "Have We Ruined Sex" thing, and it's like not even that interesting. Well, it's really short, so we can just read it and see what we think.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
So we also do. It doesn't have a bumper yet because I have a brain disease that doesn't let me do things all the time. But we do a segment called Sharticles where we read bad articles that suck.
So imagine the word sharticle came out in poop color and there was like a rip ass sound. Yeah. Or something of such like. And yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start screen sharing.
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on, I gotta.
Oh yeah, you gotta set it up. I know. This is why you don't have time to make bumpers, because you're making all the promo materials and the streaming assets and all the shit. You do a lot.
Yes. Here we go. Is that right? There we go.
Hell yeah. Valpoke says, as a former philosophy teacher, I apologize on behalf of my people. Yeah, philosophy, y'all really annoy the hell out of me, because a lot of times, not all of you, but so many of you are like asking like hypotheticals about human motivation when it's like, we could do an experiment on that now. We can answer some of these questions instead of just tugging our bug all the time.
Yeah, that was the big thing that we learned when was that she was like, what if polyamory existed? And it's like, bitch, it does.
It does, Agnes. Yeah, that's also because of like specifically the kind of philosophy she does is like literally all they read is Aristotle and shit. Like they don't take in new information. And that's why she's like this. It's so okay. I'm gonna start reading it. How much do we know about sex? We know it when we see it, We know it when we do it, and we know that it has significance. But
Sex is when you be fucking.
sex is when you be fucking. But when it comes time to state what that significance is, we are much less certain. This pattern in what we know and what we don't know suggests an answer to the question, what is sex? Sex is a ritual. Okay, so first of all, I feel like we don't know it when we see it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're not all on the same page about what sex is. I think it's kind of a big thing.
Yeah, specifically this, the straights are like, oh, it's only sex if you put a pingus in a vagina. It's like that's pretty classic. Most people are wrong about sex, in my opinion, because sex is a whole fucking lot more than that.
Yes. And if these fucking TikToks we were just watching are any indication, we don't always, sometimes we know it when we see it, or sometimes we think this is sex for somebody, but it's not sex for me. And that's true of a lot of different things.
Sex is what I did to your mom last night.
Whatever it is. Sex is when your beatboxing consumptive Victorian child begs for food.
Yeah, sex can. Ninja Cow 64. I feel like some BDSM enjoyers would agree that like sex is a ritual, but like it can be, but it doesn't have to be. I like it when sex is a ritual, but it doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't have to be a ritual. It could just be, I mean, like, unless everything's a ritual, like, which she maybe she thinks is, but. A ritual is a sequence of behaviors that symbolically enacts an idea. Okay. A handshake or a bow enacts the idea of mutual acknowledgement. A wedding enacts the coming into existence of a commitment. We tend to need such symbols most for ideas we have some trouble expressing directly. For example, we have trouble with the idea of death to the point of sometimes saying of a loved one, I can't believe she's dead. The funeral enacts the idea that she's not just missing on this or that occasion, she is permanently gone.
Okay. So you were like, sex is a ritual. Here's a bunch of things that are actually rituals.
And I don't know that I even agree with this assertion that a ritual is a sequence of behaviors that symbolically enacts an idea. Sometimes, like, sure, sometimes. But aren't some things rituals just because the repetitiveness of them itself is the meaningful thing, that the repetition is grounding and comforting and is familiar and is like a sign of affiliation, and it doesn't necessarily have to symbolize something?
Yeah.
Look,
Absolutely.
I don't know. A bedtime ritual, such as a story and a kiss goodnight, enacts the idea, I still care about you, even though I'm leaving you alone in the dark with nothing to do. And it does so better than simply saying those words. This is so autistic in general. Like, what?
It's so true.
I feel like I understand a lot of her deal because I think she really has spent all of her life saying, why do we shake hands? Why do we tuck our children in? Why do we have funerals? Don't we already know the person's dead?
But she doesn't know that she's autistic, it feels like. Like, even if she does, she doesn't understand how it relates to all this stuff. So she's like thinking about like you said, why do we shake hands? And it's like, well, you have to understand that your relationship to that is different than most people's. And it's valid, but when you try to like describe it in like have the way you feel about it encompass all of humanity, it's not gonna work because you necessarily fucking have a different relationship to it than like a lot of people. It's not worse, but it is different.
I mean, on some level, maybe she's the wokest neurodivergent of them all because it says, I am the normal person. Everyone needs to and does think like me. She's like autism supremacy or whatever, like, but not even that, like, it's autism centrism. Like, she thinks everybody does stuff for autistic reasons.
Autistic normalization of autism, like, neurodivergent like
normativity.
yeah, normativity.
Yeah, neurodivergent normativity, which makes no sense, but yes, exactly. Plus, she doesn't, because she's the type of philosopher she is, she's never consumed any psychology whatsoever. So she might have gotten an autism diagnosis and has no clue what it means. It seems like
somebody needs to throw unmasking autism just at her. Just like,
I wonder what I think she would have a bunch of very dour things to say about it. Like, I don't think she probably would accept it as a way of understanding the world or people. But I'd love to hear her read it for filth. Like,
we need to,
because I don't know.
We need to just get her on the show. As much as we've said some things about what she has to say.
Yeah. I think it says she says yes to every interview request, so I think we haven't been that naughty. The idea that sex enacts is one of the trickiest. Thoroughly reciprocal desire. Aristotle asks us to special interest alert. Aristotle asks us to imagine a choice between two lovers. The first desperately wants to have sex with you, but can't, while the second can and will, but doesn't really feel like it. Aristotle says that if you are a truly erotic person, you will choose the first. What makes a desire erotic is that it is satisfied simply by being reciprocated. I mean, there's something there.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, but sex.
But also, the fucking is fun.
Yeah, like, sex is both of those things. I think I don't think I quite know her point yet.
Yeah, it's like she's saying that sex is just an expression of desire, and that it's the desire that is the important part of it, and having that desire reciprocated. And it's like, actually, okay, first of all, sometimes just desiring something itself is fun and enjoyable, even if it's not reciprocated.
Right.
The Charlie Kaufman thing. It's what you love, not what loves you. Agnes.
Cucking is sex. Like, getting cucked is.
Yes, getting cucked is sex. Getting demeaned, like, the person's ignoring you while you're fucking them. That's a huge fetish for a lot of people. That's not reciprocated. That's why they like it. Oh, but sure, desire is important but it's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
I can want you in all sorts of ways, for president, as a bridge partner, and so on. But when I want you in such a way that all I want is for you to want me in exactly that same way, then my desire is sexual.
No.
Non-sexual
I don't agree with. Yeah, that's the first thing where it's like, okay, I know I understand what you're saying, and I totally disagree with you. Needing someone like for example, just to go full on, like rape exists, and I think rape is like, excuse me for talking about this, like, I'm not trying to be, it like rape is a sexual thing, and that is, like, specifically not a thing, like, where it's like that person doesn't want it to be reciprocated, you know what I mean? Like, and that is still, like, I don't know. I guess you could say, maybe that's a bad example, because maybe you could say that rape is different than sex, but, like, I would say it's certainly it's certainly sexual, like, and that's just an example. Like we were saying, like the desire to get cucked, like, you specifically, the thing that is sexual is specifically that you are not wanted. Like, that is such a weirdly specific thing to define sex as.
Yeah, it's so vanilla, I think. Like, I
Yeah.
want you in such a way that all I want is for you to want me in exactly that same way. Then my desire is sexual. So that just puts people on like an even level that they're both experiencing the same kind of desire and to the same level, which excludes a lot of different realities of sex.
Yeah.
And I think you're right too. It's not even just outright sexual assault, but like if you just look at like the way that red pill guys talk or like manosphere guys talk,
Yeah.
they desire sex, but and like they're devoting their whole lives to gaming out how to get more of it, but it's as this like commodity that they get. It's not about experiencing desire back. I mean, again, do they want to feel powerful? Do they want to feel manly and desirable in terms of having social assets? Sure, but they're not wanting a person to want them as much, like, because they don't care about the person like
Right.
that.
They don't see
you
the
know?
person as a person. They see them as an object.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
Lulu thinks me making my friend watch a movie I really like, so they like it too. Sexual.
yes. Well, but Agnes might say that because she has
Yeah.
written about how this what was it, aspiration, right? That like the highest purpose is two people aspiring to something greater together or whatever.
Yeah.
Like is talking about Aristotle with your grad student husband sex?
To her, it seems like it.
Yeah, which fair enough.
Did we talk about that article that just talked about her, like her relationship with this married guy? Did you fucking read that? Did we actually talk about that on the show? I can't remember. I know I read it, but I don't.
If we did, we just like touched on it. I don't think we really got into it deep like that.
Because that shit was fucking wild, because it was all about how she had this like she was like obsessed with this guy. Like this guy was married. I think she wasn't married at the time. Wasn't in a relationship, but she had it for like a year or years, and it was like she was so obsessed with him that she was like thinking about him all the time, and like wanted to like, oh god, I'm trying to remember all the details.
Oh yes, we did talk about it because she was like, I want to talk to you for 47 minutes, and he was like, that's too long, and then she like held him to that exact literal request very autistically until she finally did get to talk to him for 47 minutes.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
It was just this very strange yeah. It was all very strange. And illuminated that other article about her and that guy and you know, her now husband and previous husband a lot.
And yeah, and it was also like about her like obsessing about his like wife, like in this weird way.
Yeah.
Girly, that's called a delusion.
Yes. Yes. And she was, oh, man, I wish I could remember all the details, because it was so, there was so many fucking things, and the guy seemed like afraid of her by the end.
Yeah. Like she had like no, I mean, she seems to have, and this, I remember we did talk about this, like just this series of like boundaryless relationships, where, and this is again a very like unself-realized, unascended autistic thing where it's like you have these couple of people you can relate to and you just like make them like the center of your world because they're the only people you can like you understand how to interface with, and your boundaries are just like really out of whack, and it gets written off as like BPD or like whatever kind of various things depending on the person. And it's like, okay, no, you just haven't, you're regulating yourself through how somebody else is giving you attention or making you feel. Like you haven't learned how to self-regulate yet.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oof.
She's the person. Let's finish the. It's interesting reading this together. Well, let's finish these last couple paragraphs and see if it goes any different place.
Yeah, I was just trying to fix because Modulo Zero said that the link to follow you on here wasn't working. So
oh yeah, thank you. That's so strange. Yeah, I stream.
Yeah.
stream myself on Twitch.
Yes,
Tested by Suckers.
twitch.tv. Yes, and I'll fix that in night, but after this, and I'm just gonna open it right now so I don't forget. I know everybody can see everything. Sorry.
Oh, they can't actually right now. I meant
Okay.
I meant to switch it earlier, but I forgot.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. All right. So now I'm back on the article. Just let me know when it's.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I can want you. Oh, wait, I already did that. Non-sexual desires might seek reciprocation, but not mere reciprocation. If I want you to go for a walk with me, you don't satisfy that desire by wanting to go on a walk with me. Because what about the actual walk? Agnes, some of us do want to actually fuck. Like, what the fuck? A desire that is satisfied just by being mirrored in another is a strange desire. Strange enough that instead of expressing the idea of such a desire directly, we enact it by way of a ritual. Sex is that ritual.
What
Girl,
the fuck are you
no.
talking about?
Girl, no, it's supposed to feel good. Oh my god. Honey, it's
but
like,
also the opposite, where it's like a desire that is satisfied by just being mirrored in another is a strange desire. No, that's a normal thing. Like wanting somebody to want to go on a walk with me is like a normal fucking thing. Like, that's not a thing I only get from sex.
You want your friends to like you, and you want to like them.
Yeah.
And then yes, you do want to go on a walk, or you do want to fucking suck their shit sloppy style. Like,
yeah.
For somebody who like kind of upended her whole life for like a new sexual relationship at the time, this woman doesn't seem to actually enjoy the act of sex, and maybe thinks other people don't either, is the weird part.
Yeah, there's big Ace vibes here. Like, not actually understanding, like enjoying sex, but not understanding what most people actually enjoy about sex. Like, and then I'm reading ahead because it's like, oh yeah, this was supposed to be about consent. And the way that like some bullshit thing about like how consent has changed sex.
But she had to spend half of her word count just being like, now what even is sex? Because I don't understand what it is.
I'm really wrong about it.
I'm really wrong about it, and I don't like it, and I have this very weird abstracted idea of why I do it, or why people do anything.
Yeah.
It just really is like, it's so like, she doesn't like travel, she doesn't like fucking, she doesn't like, most things that aren't talking about Aristotle, and that's fine. But if she could just like allow that some people do genuinely like those things, that would be good for her worldview.
Yeah. So, okay, so the idea of consent or continuous consent or continuous enthusiastic consent, those are all two-dimensional projections of the three-dimensional idea of reciprocal desire. That is why consent feels flat or thin as an attempt to capture what sex, the ritual, is about. It shouldn't surprise us that consent, which is restricted to the domain of what can be directly, non-symbolically expressed, you have to be able to specify what you're consenting to, fails to communicate the relevant idea. To communicate that idea, we have sex. What?
Okay, okay. So sex is an expression.
It's that fucking lady with the math, like.
Literally, I'm like diagramming the sentence here. So sex, in her view, is an expression of mutual desire, and that's why it exists, in order to make manifest that feeling of desiring and being desired.
Right. And that's the only way to do that, I guess.
Yes. And it's a way of, and it, like all rituals, it is a way of embodying the ineffable, something that cannot be put into words or not done justice by words. And so because consent is typically verbal, or what she's talking about is verbal consent, it's trying to make that symbolic activity explicit. And so it can't ever actually capture sex, because if you actually are consenting, you would already be having sex.
That's fucking.
I think is the argument.
I can't. It's so fundamentally not even like the the purpose of consent is here, and what she's talking about is in another state. It's just not.
Yeah.
At
It's
all.
in another stratosphere.
It's on another planet. I don't understand.
And because ultimately, like, the implications of what she's saying is that asking for consent or verbally discussing consent kills the vibe, because
but she's saying more than that. Like okay, so that is why consent feels flat or thin as an attempt to capture what sex the ritual is about, which is fucking. Consent is not about capturing the what sex is. That's not what consent is for. It's like consent is not about describing sex.
No, it's not a sexual act. It's not a part, like, it's like a necessary. It's like just making sure the building is up to fire code. Like does that ruin the sex if you make sure that the building that you're in isn't on fire before you have sex? Like, it's different. It's just a precondition.
Is making sure the bed doesn't break fail to capture what sex is? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Sex is in the domain of what cannot be expressed. And so consent, by being explicit, fails to communicate sex. Sex is a communication of bodies, basically, is what she's saying. But actually the sex doesn't matter, because the sex is just there as a stand-in for desire. So, but the only way to express that desire, you can't verbalize that desire. The only way you can verbalize that desire is by having sex.
So levels.
To get consent, you have sex.
It's a tower built on. So it's like, so dinosaurs are angels, obviously. So because dinosaurs are angels, that means that God must be cold-blooded. And that's why when we pray to God, we don't, you know what I mean? It's like, it's layers and layers of like weird assumptions and then weird logical leaps from those assumptions.
It's so weird, and it's just so like analytical and cerebral, and just misses like the not even what's normal, but also just the sheer diversity of deviance beyond what's considered normal. So it's like,
yeah,
it meets no one. It describes no one except for Agnes, who I guess doesn't like being asked if she wants to have sex. She wants you to just, initiate physically, and that will make her feel desired, and then she can express desire back by having sex back. But really, it's actually not the sex that matters. It's the desire that
I think
symbolizes.
And going back to like the way you're talking about, like, this is like, like that, it's kind of like it makes sense, like her being autistic and like trying to understand like why people do the things in the ways they do. I think this is like, if she just was like, if she wrote this about her own conception of sex, it would make I think that this would be like, not the consent stuff, but like the other stuff is like, yeah, that makes perfect sense that this would be your conception of what sex is to you, right? Like, because that doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be anything for anything, but she's like literally saying that this is how it is for everybody. This is the definition of sex.
Yeah. And it's really, especially once you do then apply it to the consent stuff, then it's just really taking a very circuitous and idiosyncratic personal route to saying, like, you should just initiate sex rather than talk about it, because that's how you know if somebody wants to have it. Which, okay, if you're in a marriage with somebody you have a good, sexual rapport with, sure, there's plenty of ways to do that. But that's not when like consent conversations that are particularly difficult come into play usually, like if it's a non-abusive dynamic. Like, so that's not the primary place we need to consider when we're thinking about what role does consent and seeking consent apply, like.
Yeah, Lulu thinks that did this woman assault someone? It's like, yeah, it feels like if this is your understanding of consent, how can you be having sex with people without violating consent? Like, you don't understand what consent is at all.
And it's weird because we know from her origin story, that profile, like her and the grad student, they locked eyes on each other and they said, like, I think I'm in love with you. We need to be together. I need to leave my husband. They did have a conversation about it.
It seemed like good consent.
A very strange one. Yeah. And she's documented like the process she's had to go through, and that her
Oh no. I fucked up. Oh shit. I disconnected Devin. I thought that would just end I thought that would just end the video share cuz his video is getting chunky. Oh no. Oh, hello. Right. Okay, good. Hello. That was me. I thought that I pressed a button that I thought was just going to end your video share, but it just completely disconnected you.
Oh, yeah. I just noticed that the thing stopped downloading, and I was like, oh.
No, your video was getting very chunky, so I was like, oh, if I just but I didn't want to interrupt you to ask you to end the video, and instead I did the most interrupting thing, which was kicking you off the call completely.
Ninja Cow said, "Where were you when Devin was killed?"
It was inevitable that this show was I was eventually, with all of my different technology, I was eventually going to murder you. Just press the wrong button.
Yes. Flex that power, Maddie, Chubby Kumquat said. That's right. Yeah, I'm not driving this thing. I don't know how to drive this large Winnebago that is the stream. But yeah, like it is weird because she has, like, when she documented like the consent process that she had to do, or not consent process, but like the ethics process she had to do at the university, she sounded like she was very on board with it. Like, she's not didn't have any oversight of him in any academic capacity. In fact, she was very pro like being out at work about relationships and saying that it's dangerous to not be. So it's like just a weird combo of beliefs here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very strange. I don't understand how somebody who thinks about consent the way that she just described can understand consent in that different way, where, in order to understand that she needed to do the things that she did. Like, maybe it was just the other guy, but and so much of the way that she did that seemed like generally, good about consent. So, like, at least I don't understand how like even if it wasn't as good as it sounds like she understands consent. And so I don't understand how she's yeah,
I honestly, more than getting is this a cope for her having intruded on someone's boundaries, I think to me it reads more like, again, somebody who is not the most self-aware or aware of how they differ from other people, who has had a lot of really intense relationships that seem to have gone from like 0 to 60 really quickly, navigating her own like lack of sexual desire, and yet also romantic kind of obsession. And so it seems like more to me that like she can't communicate what she wants. Mm-hmm. Like, she doesn't feel a lot of agency over what she wants sexually.
Yeah.
And so that's because she doesn't know what it's for, because she doesn't enjoy it other than being desired. So
that's sad.
That's the vibe I get. Yeah.
You don't have to have sex. You can fucking reciprocate desire in other ways.
Absolutely. You can talk about Agnes. You can talk about your Blorbos. Or Agnes, you can talk about Aristotle.
Yeah.
As long as you want. And that can be sex.
You don't have to write Wall Street Journal articles. You can write in your
Yes.
journal.
Oh my god.
I guess yeah, Chubby Kumquat says I guess work consent isn't like embodying some indescribable ritual though. And the article is like it could be so sexy to ritualize consent to make it work for both parties. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could do it that
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah. This is an open letter to a top that refused to do CNC to her. It does have vibes of consent is not sexy, like for sure. It does have that weird implication.
Yeah.
These people don't know how to get slammed down big style. I missed that earlier.
All right. Well, it is 10. We've done 3 hours of this shit. That was extremely fun. For those of you, if there's new sickos in the chat, this is first of all, thank you. Hold on, there was some new subscribers, so if I refresh cache of current page, now that should be everyone who just joined because that doesn't update. So thank you so much to everybody who subscribes in general, and thank you so much to Lulu Finks, that Callisto, Captain Bera. Thank you so much for subscribing and gifting subscriptions, cause this shit is fucking fun. I posted about that on Tumblr. You guys are just so fucking cool. And this show is so fucking cool, and it was really fun talking to the sickos and talking about a thing I really enjoyed. So we normally do it to 1 CST to 4 CST on Friday.
On Fridays, yeah.
Yes, that is our normal. But you can also go to this YouTube channel I got up on the screen for VODs if that time doesn't work for you. Or back on this Twitch page.
Yeah, and honestly, this went so well that it's like, and it's, I don't know, the evening is just a different vibe. We should definitely do evenings more often too. I feel like it captures different people and it's just fun. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'd be down to do evenings. Y'all should subscribe so that we can it'll incentivize us to do this, to stream more than one time a week, because we talked about that.
Yes.
Oh, I did.
And Matt. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on.
Oh, and Maddie streams a little bit more often in the night and kind of different times depending on what you're working on. But she did a whole Tears of the Kingdom extended stream, and Maddie and her spouse just finished playing Obra Dinn and a bunch of other things. So you should definitely follow her.
Yes.
As well.
I like streaming. Yeah, it's usually during the day, so yeah, we'll probably do regular time next week.
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right, let's see if there's anybody to raid. I don't actually know these people. Maddie Duvernay playing Stardew Valley. Do you know who that is?
I don't remember. Let me see. I think she was from one of the like disabled streamer collectives that we were looking at.
Yeah, let's jump in.
Yeah, I think she's cool. Yeah.
Doing Stardew Valley.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Thanks again for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Hope to see you again.